Hello and welcome to another episode of the Vault Dwellers Podcast, a very special episode. I am your host, MrMac. With me, as always, is Gary Moore. Gary, what's happening?
Episode 30. This is a wee... How did we get to 30? God's sake, it only took us about 2 years. That's not bad. There's actually Mel in 30. We've sprinkled a few wee extras in there, but this is the official 30.
I think we're 32 or something like that, but let's just say for numbered episodes, we're on 32. Jeez, let's start again. Burn this to the ground, start again. Episode 30, and as Gary says, it's taken us probably a bit longer than we maybe anticipated, but you know what, we've got jobs, right? So just fucking shut up. We actually had, to be honest, planned to only do like once a month, and the original first year ended up being more, just we end up like recording like 2 at a time and posting fortnightly, and then we just got busy. So that's what it is. How's things? What's new? It's only been a month this time, so it's no too bad for us in terms of catching up, Mr. Moore, but hopefully all good.
Been good. Just working away, playing games, and started painting again, so that's been pretty good. Painting a picture for somebody's birthday, so it's nice to get back into it, but also frustrating. So that's
what a hobby to have.
I think it's when you had COVID, it was like, I've got hundreds of spare time, and then when you're trying to do it, when you're juggling everything, you're like, I've not got hundreds of time.
No, I definitely get that. But it must be good though, being able to paint and not have to worry about the wee man getting a holiday, because that was probably the biggest stumbling block back then.
I can actually picture it in the dining room table was where I paint. I can leave it out and I know nobody's going to touch it, which is nice. I had to go through two years of starting something and just putting it away because a picture got stood on and one got stabbed with a pencil and all that, and I was like, right, this is happening. So it's
I
nice
miss all the stories though. I miss the pictures, and I would either need to like look at it and say, I'd be looking going, is he just showing me what he's done, or has something happened to this? And I would just be trying to find and there would be like a big gap somewhere or something. So totally. Totally. I'm sure it's a big relief for you, right enough, but definitely miss it.
It was my Johnny Cash picture, that's right. My Johnny Cash picture, I was doing black and white, entire picture of black and white, and a green pencil got drawn all over the top of it. I was like,
spitting fire, no, the rain of fire, spitting fire. Love it. Well, this is a good time for me in terms of getting this podcast out. I love that we're trying to hit the end of the month, so actually depending on upload times and if I can do the thumbnail, in fact I might be absolutely talking rubbish. I was going to see if I can maybe get it posted tomorrow, but it may not happen. I was trying to see if I could get it posted within February, but I actually just realised that this is the last day of February, so that won't happen. No February podcast. We'll maybe try and do 2 next month. We'll see what happens. Fuck it. It's Monday. I like a podcast on a Monday because it's a good window for us, and I usually check it out on my way into work. So plus it gives me the weekend to try and get everything sorted, so that's fine. But other than that, just the usual, working and playing more games than I was probably this time last year. So playing the same game probably on and again at that point. But anyway, we'll get into that shortly. Shout out to Rahul, favourite segment. Rahul obviously keeps us honest as much as he is our lawyer. Rahul the Cheat also plays fantasy critic, so we'll get into that a wee bit later. Down with Rahul. We'll see how much he actually listens to these podcasts. We'll just pepper in them every now and again and see if he see how quickly it takes him to pick us up on it. Although I should say he is probably dressed up as a furry playing his Monster Hunter right now, because that's just released. So we'll see. I doubt we'll actually. I doubt we'll hear from him. Do you know what? Let's just get right into it. Gary, let's get right into it with what have we been playing, because we might as well. So why don't you kick us off, mate, with the what have we been playing?
Well, I've been playing 3 games. One we're reviewing, so we're not really going to talk about that. What will I say what it is?
Aye. Let's bait and hook them.
So the game that we're going to review and just have a good discussion about is actually Star Wars Outlaws. Both of us got it for Christmas, and both of us played it, and we're like, you know what? Let's do a discussion on this, because I feel like we had a good couple of light conversations on it that we could dive into some more. So that's what we're going to talk about. There it is there. So aye, that's that was one of the games I was playing. So I played that straight after Christmas, and then I went on High on Life because it went on the PlayStation Now, PlayStation whatever they call it, extra. So I started playing that. I have to say, everything you said about it, Sean, is absolutely correct. Hilarious game, but my God, it plays like utter shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's and seeing the bosses and stuff. I was just playing it normal, and playing the bosses. I was like, this is so shit, man. Like actually, like the gunplay and stuff. I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. But you're not there for that. You're there for the funny, good times.
Yep.
Which it is. It is. I finding myself playing like one full level or story level, and then like turning it off, and I'll not go back to it for about 3 or 4 days, and then I go back again. It's kind of got that. I don't think you could play a start to finish. I don't know. Did they feel like that type of game that's got its hooks in me? Aye, good.
I couldn't remember. I can't really remember how I played it, to be honest with you, back then. But when I was thinking about it the other week, because it's on PS Plus, as you mentioned, and I was trying to I clicked the download, and then I think I've got it downloaded now onto the thing, but then I started to think about it, and I was like, do you know what? I don't know if I could play this again. Like, I don't remember a lot of the funny stuff, but I'm like, is it really worth playing again? Like, I'm sure there's stuff that I probably didn't see, or there's definitely stuff I didn't see, or maybe I just don't remember it. But when I was watching, obviously because it's on Plus, it's got a resurgence, so you bits getting shared, and I've seen a few clips and stuff. I was actually sharing one with Gary recently with a this you're basically like a big character running through a wee tiny town, and it's just funny, like the reaction of the computer when you do that. It's pretty good, but I'm just not sure if I could. Like, I don't really have a lot of fond memories of the game or the level design. It's just quite funny, like situational comedy.
It's just there for a good time, isn't it?
Aye.
If you like Rick and Morty or any of that kind of like squanch stuff, then it'll be right up your street. Like my wife was she's no watched me fully watch it, like play it, but she was there the day that a day I was playing it, and she was like laughing and stuff. Was like the wee guy sleeps on your couch and all that kind of stuff, and she's like, "What the fuck is happening?" And she's like, she didn't even know anything about it, and she was like, "This is just like Rick and Morty," and I was like, "This is actually the people who make Rick and Morty's made this game." She's like, "Oh, you can tell straight away it's got the same humour and all that,
same unhinged humour."
Just feel stupid. It was the first mission or something like that, so I'm not spoiling it, but there's like the first mission you go down like this tunnel, and there's a wee guy with like no leg. And he's like, "Oh, I'm just the guy with the broke leg. I mean, you don't really want to talk to me, do you? You don't. Do you really want to talk to me? I'm just the guy with the broke leg." And then you go back later, and he's like, "Oh, hi, I'm still just here because I can't move because I've broke my leg." Right? He's just still in the same tunnel.
Aye.
It's just that typical humor, but it's a good time. But it's gameplay wise, it's like it does get better as it goes on when it starts to give you upgrades and stuff like that,
Yep.
and you get the different guns or Gatlins as they call them.
Mm-hmm.
It does change it up a bit, but I'm a bit like I definitely that was definitely a companion game, I'll
Aye.
say, than just play it itself.
Aye,
But
I
right,
mean, I quite like thinking back. Like I do obviously remember all the different characteristics and different personalities, I should say, that the guns have, which was quite funny. I don't even remotely remember the main story other than you're trying to get back to Earth, really. But I have seen this clip quite a lot, which is very very start. Obviously, when you leave the house and you've got obviously it's just the Morty gun or whatever is it, so that voice, and he's like, oh, the aliens are coming towards us, you got to shoot them. I don't know if you've seen this clip online at all, but like if you don't shoot your gun, he's like, come on, we really need to do something, just like, if you played games before, like press a trigger, like press any button, and if you pause it and then unpause it, he's like, really, that's the button, pause, you think pause is the shoot button, and he like starts like berating you, like to say like, really, that's what one you thought was going to shoot the gun, like, I'm glad you paused the game, like, come on, let's get in on this. It's just quite funny. So I dare say there's loads and loads of stuff that between us we'll probably never see. It's just one of the funny things. Between
that's
that
what you're in it for. It's just the pure banter into it. It's the banter of the guns, and I mean, one of the funniest bits was when I shot a guy, and like he basically gets you into trouble for it, and he's like, "What are you doing? Why are you shooting him? Like, what's wrong with you? You're like, do you really just want to shoot everybody? Is that what you want to do in this game? You're just shooting everybody, you know? It's good.
It's good, as I say. It's good, and it did at one point make me go, I really should check it out again. But there's just too much on the cards and to play. So I might put it on. I figured that it would maybe just be a quick like put it on and forget about it type thing. But play for an hour or whatever else. But even now, there's still probably too many games to look through, to revisit ones like that. So, definitely worth checking out, I would say.
Yep. You can go for a couple because you've got about 110 games in this.
Aye, for a wee change. Do you know? I tend to eat, it's like famine or feast with me. When it comes to games, like I'll either not really play that many of them, or I'll be like playing like one game for like 80 million hours. What I will say is I did play another PS Plus game before, although obviously it doesn't expire, but while it was still up, I put on the Stanley Parable. I was interested in playing that for a wee while, because I'd heard a couple of things about it, mostly when they were talking about the trophies when it first came to PlayStation. There's like a trophy that you need to no play the game for like so many years or something like that. So that's how it first came up, and I was wondering like what kind of the game it was. And some people like compared the humour to like Portal. So I thought, well, I liked the first Portal, and I'm supposed to be playing the second Portal soon. But I thought, do you know what? I'll just check this out. It's very, very short. I think it can be much longer if you keep playing it, because you can beat the game, but then there's like different things you can do to try different stuff, like go this way and go that way. It's weird to me. I'm not entirely sure. Like I kept trying different things, and then it was like massive paths to get like a certain outcome, and then it was like trying to remember like what you'd done. I don't know if you played it at all. I thought I'd seen you as like played, but it must be because you've added it to your library. But like it's the gist is you're like this kind of worker, and you go into your work and nobody's there kind of thing. Like you're in this office and you've got to like go through the door, but there's a narrator is saying what you're doing. So it's like, Stanley did this, and he walked through the corridor, and he went through the left door. But if you go through the right door, he'll change what he was saying. So he'll be like, but instead of going through the left door, he actually went through the right door and realised what he'd done, and he's turned around and he changed his mind. But if you just keep walking, like, it takes you in a different place, and then it just starts talking about different things, and then it just starts to be like there's something else going on in the background, like there's something else happening, like, and you've got to try and like kind of take down this computer type thing. Like, it's not just another day in the office. It's quite strange. It only takes like a couple of hours, but it's quite odd. But it definitely makes me think of Portal in that sense, which is just something kind of happening. But just not quite as good. But some people hold it in quite high regard. That I don't really recall a lot of it, and I only played it last month, so maybe that's something. But it was funny, like some of the things that it was saying and some of the stuff that you can do. So I probably worth maybe looking at that a wee bit. Probably one of the other ones I would say as a quick one would be the new golf game. Ben has been relentlessly sending me stuff for Twitter on this game. I don't know why, but he just keeps sending me handles of stuff on the new 2K golf game. So I decided just to download the demo just to see what it was like, and actually it looks really good and feels pretty good in terms of the swing and the mechanics and stuff in it. But I have no real interest at all on getting it. I'm just going to stick to the golf game, the PGA Tour, the EA Sports one, just 'cause it has a full tour. I might play it if I'm watching the tournament. There's a tournament basically every week at the minute, so if I'm watching the tournament, I'll maybe play if I decide to. But right now, I'm not interested. I was just trying to see what kind of score I could get on because it lets you play 9 holes on the demo, and it was actually pretty fun, but relatively easy for a man of my caliber. You know what I mean?
That's it.
But I did manage
but also the demo's like, look how good this is, and then when you buy it, it's like, this is going to cost £27 if you want one club.
Yeah,
the old 2K.
That's exactly what's apparently happened. Like, so I've seen some comments. Ben sent me a thing for Twitter today, or X, whatever you might call it, and I had a look at the comments, and it was like the reviews are before the patch. Apparently they've like they've nerfed the VC, virtual currency. They've like made it so it's like really hard to like earn the currency. So because of that, it's like, well, it's going to take you much longer, or you need to pay extra money. 2K, as you said. So I don't see it. That's one reason why I'm like, do you know what? I'm just not interested whatsoever in getting this. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in terms of the other golf game, whether or not I play it or not. I said to Ben, he actually bought it. I told him that this EA one was miles better, and it was on sale last weekend when I was on the chat with him. So he ended up downloading it. It was like 12 quid or something like that at the time, which was pretty good. So he's picked that up, and I might jump on and play around with him. It'd be quite fun to get back into it again. I like playing with other people. That's good. Me and you obviously have done a few golf rounds a few times on the earlier 2K games, but you need to be in the right mood as well to get it. And usually it's just we just do it for like a night and then back to other games or whatever. So but the deluxe version for some reason was cheaper than the main version. It's like 70 quid still, and if you go to the deluxe version, it's like heavily discounted for I don't know why. So maybe because they've seen an opportunity to try and like get ahead of the 2K one, who knows. So I will if you like golf, then check it out, but I would suggest avoiding it until at least it's on sale, and maybe you can spend money on their VC if that's where the main issue is. Medieval, why don't we talk about that, because we managed to get through that one. As we've said before, it's a co-op base building, city building game, and it absolutely destroyed me one weekend because I was trying to go for the platinum. And there's some pretty ridiculous trophies in it, where you need to basically, you have to try and play as your heir, and it takes a very long time. So I spent like an entire Sunday doing all these like secondary trophies, and I was telling Gary last week that I actually I was set up my Steam Deck, and I put my YouTube on the iPad, and I wanted to play another game, but I was like, no, I'm just going to sit on my iPad and I'm just going to keep clicking skip. So all I was doing for like 2 hours was my character was looking at his bed, waiting until the time was allowed me to skip to the next season. And I'd done it for ages, and I'm looking and going, I don't even want to watch this YouTube video. I was like, I'm literally just passively playing this game, and I'd rather be actually playing a game. So I kind of sullied it a wee bit. We did have a good last night on it as a co-op venture, where we kind of done one of the projects we were looking to do, which was building. Basically, we moved all the barns and built moved the pub in big area and done all these kind of stalls and stuff. I'm not sure. I actually never asked you this, but obviously they made a big change with the most recent update, where you could build stuff if you were in the vicinity of the storage. So you never had to actually like have the resources on you. You just, you could, which meant obviously at the end decorating was much easier, and everything just did become miles easier in terms of making stuff. And I'm not sure ultimately if the game was that the full-time run, if we were to start a new game right now, like, would it have been as fun? Because it would have been very quick that we would have got to that point probably, rather than it was a bit of a slower paced, like, I don't think we would have got quite the 90 hours is what I ended up as at, but it was at least 60, 70 for yourself in the very end.
I know, I agree. I think we went on a perfect time because we were still getting updates, they're still getting updates, but when we went on, it literally got updated, I think, the day after we played the first time, and it was kind of like a winter update and just added a couple of extra things, which was pretty good. But when we played it, it was still your usual base builder. You could only carry so much resources and all this kind of stuff, and you had to have the resources on you to build the stuff and whatever. So when we did it, it was quite nice because we were just building the village one by one, house. Then you start building all your workshops and whatever. But then the big change was, if you have a resource base, then you can build basically a big massive area around that. You don't need to have anything on you. I think for convenience, I think they're probably thinking. I mean, this game's pretty old actually. When did we say it? Was it 4 years, 3 years ago or something like that? Is it? So they're probably thinking more for convenience of the people who are still playing it.
Yeah.
So they can build major cities and stuff like that, which definitely, I mean, that's the stage we were literally at as well. So it just fit in perfectly with that update because it was like only like 2-3 weeks ago that they changed it.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, that's good because we're just the kind of the cosmetic stage, this game now rather than actual essential stage. So it worked out favourably for us. But as you said, if that kind of came new, it would be like we could have ran through that game in like a couple of weeks probably.
Yeah.
Especially the way we were playing it, because we were kind of like one person was the base builder and one was the resource kind of maker, and that that was kind of the roles we went. So we could by the end we had thousands and thousands of logs just sitting, in our storage for doing nothing.
Aye. It was like such a scarce resource. The full time was the logs, and then once we got up to a certain point, it became much easier. I think we put a couple of multipliers on right enough that helped develop some of the people. Just because we were only playing on a Friday, it was meant that it was taking just a wee bit too long to do some of the elements.
To be fair, we only did that literally like a couple of weeks before we finished playing it. Like we've been playing since before Christmas, about November or something
I
like.
think it was. Yeah.
Something
That
like
seems about
that.
right.
So we've been playing all that time, nearly every single Friday and sometimes Saturday. We've been playing that entire time with like no multiplayers on, no nothing.
Yeah.
And then literally about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we just went, oh, let's put some multiplayers on, just speed it up a wee bit right at the end.
Yeah.
But
It was
no,
mostly just
it was
for
really good. I
people.
really enjoyed it.
The kind of secondary element of it is that they have a lot of villagers and they craft things for you and produce things for you. So it just meant that some of the stuff we were trying to do was, could be done. Basically, to be honest, it was mostly so we could just go away and do what we wanted to do. We were spending kind of weeks sessions, like just kind of doing repeating stuff, like cutting loads of trees so that they would stop complaining that they didn't have the right stuff or whatever. So it was just like to be honest, if we cut out the stuff and probably cut this one short, it was actually a really, really good game.
I really enjoyed that.
If people are into that kind of stuff, and especially co-op, 4 people I think can play in the one server, and it very intuitive, very easy to kind of get your head around. It's quite simple as well. It can be as evolved as you probably want it to be in terms of the co-op side. You can completely ignore everything. You can just build a tiny wee base and go and hunt stuff for ages, or you can bring a villager in and only have them doing one thing or whatever. Or our focus was to try and get our feet basically on the production line, and we never felt like we could quite get it and ignore them until the very, very end. So definitely, if they make you feel needed, that's for sure. In terms of managing,
playing but just like the only ones that I've played, like Minecraft or like the Fortnite Lego, or this is probably the best base builder kind of village builder I've played at all of them.
Aye.
I probably prefer this much more than the rest of them. I've certainly much more invested. I mean, you've played a few of these games with me, and I get to a point where I'm like, I've built my house, then I'm like, right, well, I'll just run about and do nothing else. When you're the builder, but I felt like in this game I was getting involved. I was making stuff. I was forging stuff. I was trying to actually make it happen. Whereas usually I don't craft and all that by a certain point.
I think it's because everybody it rewards you for doing stuff, which seems like a weird sentence, but basically what I mean by that is if you have 4 or 5 different skill sets. You have farming and production and excavating and hunting, that kind of thing. And if you predominantly hunt, your skill points, you're going to earn skill points for hunting, and you're going to be able to increase certain things within the hunting category. So where I was mostly into the kind of farming side and the diplomacy side, where speaking to people and selling stuff, purely because I had to get more stuff for the farming and try and establish some kind of production line for the people to make us more money. Gary was doing a lot of the hunting and building, so I would kind of plan where we were trying to build something, and Gary would, next time he was back in the village, if you seen that wee marking out bit for the village, he would quickly go and get the resources away for that. So the excavation side was also on Gary. He was quite good for trying to pick out all the items and cut down trees and whatever else. So absolute machine, to be honest. Just try to kind of go back and forward, and then I had my Dora the Explorer bag on, and I was going back and forward and selling all the goods. So with a good balance, I think that's probably one thing that shoehorned quite well with the two is on that one. So I'd love to.
We had Mrs. Mac coming in and stealing all the stuff.
That's it, exactly. Selling stuff and then saying that she found them. Been buying, killed the chicken first day, killed the chicken, and then bought a new one with her money. So that's what it is. That's the punishment. It's a game that if they made a second one and improved on some of the visuals, it would be almost, I would be almost convinced to buy. day one, because that's how much I enjoyed it. So I might keep an eye out on their stuff and see if there's anything that comes in the future. But as Gary says, this is far from done. As far as that studio is concerned, I think there's still a lot to be looked at and upgraded. So maybe a couple of years' time, if they're still going, then check back in again. But I would certainly just be expanding on what we've already done as opposed to starting again. It's just far too much. Maybe they'll have 1 million logs by the time we go back on. If only they kept working. They'd all be stoned a bit brushing right now. So, speaking about realistic and hyper-realistic games, I did check out Kingdom Come Deliverance as well, just a wee bit, only really the starter level. People have been talking about the second game. You know, it's I've seen a few clips, and people were posting that it looks absolutely fantastic, and I'm actually I kind of am looking forward to trying it. It's probably a good few months away now, given the games I've got to play. So I think I'm still going to stick with this and see if I enjoy it. People basically have says that you could skip the first one and play the second one, but what they also said was if you don't enjoy the first one, this is just merely the same, you know, in terms of the second one. So I feel like I've got an opportunity to, it's not quite demo, but it's an opportunity to play. If I'm not enjoying this, then what's the point? Playing the second one. The same could be said for Dragon's Dogma. I tried that a few times and just wasn't into it. So as much as I like the look of the second one, like if it's the same as much, you know, what's the point? You're just wasting money at that point. So what I would probably say about Kingdom Come Deliverance, it was quite fun. The combat obviously is a bit odd, you know, in terms of how they. I think it's just like you're always expecting games that you're going to rock up and start kicking ass, but you know, I was trying to get money and stuff off this guy for your dad, and he just absolutely put me in my arse, and then I'm like fucking, and I just try to shake it off, and I'm like, right, I've got all of this now, and you try and get him, and he just dodges you and puts you back down again, and you go back with like a team of folk and stuff. It's quite funny actually. And you're flinging shite at a house and stuff like that. It's just stupid. So I done a couple of things and tried out some stuff sneaking, and I get caught stealing. I get put in jail. So it's quite eventful. I think I'm definitely enjoying like where it could be. The only thing I'm not convinced about is saving the potion save that you need to drink to save the game. Like, I'm not really into that. Games don't have that kind of mechanic. For what I've heard, the second game's the same. So maybe it's just like it's not as bad as what I think it is. But I'm just going to keep playing it soon and see what happens. But I'm no rushing to get back just yet.
The combat takes a while to get into. I remember I tried to take a year ago, and like I wasn't far in it, but I played like a good at least 10-15 hours, and then I thought, right, I'm starting to get this now. I'm starting to get this. Got a bow and arrow and all that, and swords and shields and shit. And I'm like, alright, cool, I'm getting this. And then I did a mission, and I kept fucking dying. Like, and I was like, like constantly dying, and I was like, this is fucking shite. I hate this mechanic. I hate this fucking up, down, left, right, fucking dodging shit. I was like, this is pish. And plus, I don't like the main actor's voice. Like, I just don't like it.
Aye.
It's a very weird voice. I mean, the guy's supposed to be like Polish or German or something like that, and he's got like this Yorkshire English guy's accent, and I just hello, my name's Henry. You know,
it's not like that. It's not like that at all.
Oh no,
you taught me the voice before I went on, and it wasn't like what you're doing, and when I started playing,
hello,
I'm like,
have you got my father's money?
I was like, this is nowhere near it. So it was probably sounds like that to you, to be fair, but it was we'll see what it's like. There's a couple of kind of funny bits in it, a couple of bits that I'm not too sure about. I like the bartering system, like if you're buying it and you can like, if you're buying and selling, you can then just like adjust and try and see like chance of them getting like more or less money, which is quite cool. So we'll see how that plays out. But
Cool.
it was a good system. But probably worth throwing it back to you for a go into my last game.
Yeah. Do you know what? I have to say that was on sale the other day, Kingdom Come, the first one, obviously. But I had it. I don't know. I must have bought it because I've played it before. But the DLC was on sale.
All
And it
right.
was like the entire. I don't know if it's a season pass. I don't know what they called it, but it was only £3 the other day, and I was like, you know, I'm going to buy that just in case if I feel like I'm going to try it again.
Especially if I
bought
play it and start talking about it, like you know what that kind of day, it's like both of us can get kind of affected by that. And I think I only paid like £2 or £3 for this as well, so it's no loss if at the end of the day it's an older game. So we'll just see what happens.
So my other game I've been playing is another Ubisoft game, funny enough, excuse me, is Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. This game, I have to say, right off the bat, I'm really enjoying it. But it's one of the games where I'm going, I'm really enjoying this. I'm like, no, I'm no. I'm like, no, I'm really enjoying it next time. I don't think I'm like I've never played a game where I felt so like, am I enjoying this? But I have to say, I've been playing it the last couple of days, and I think I've got past the point that it was annoying me, and I'm actually really enjoying it.
Are you sure?
I quite like. I quite well, I don't know. It might change tomorrow. It's got to the point where you're starting to, you know, it's the usual games. You know, you start off basic, you've got nothing, and then it builds on. You end up getting like one of the dragons, the Avatar game, and you can ride a horse and stuff. And I think that changed it a bit because I was like, fuck me, man, the map was massive, and your wee guys just bolting about, like just running about, and I'm like, this is fucking like, and it's all always like, if you've ever seen Avatar, it's just forest and jungle.
Aye.
I mean, very very beautiful colors and stuff like that, but. I mean, you're just running through it, and it's just fucking leaves and everything. You're just like, fuck me, man. There's no really. It's just you're just running. So getting the dragon and stuff definitely changed it. But I have to say the actual like parkour and stuff like that's fantastic in this game. So good. Probably the best sort of Far Cry parkour. They've had like I mean they're supposed to be, I don't know what avatars are supposed to be like 14, 12 feet tall or something like that. But see when you go into a base, like a human base, and you're fighting them, you'll be like, oh, how can I get in that roof? And you're just like, I'll just jump onto that big pipe, jump earlier, and you can just do before you know it, you're right up. You've got like if you know you can see everybody below you, and you're like, it's really good. The parkour and the kind of movement is really good. I also like it the aspect you play as a Navi, so I like it the aspect that you're when you go into humans' bases, it's like wee cars. They just look like wee child cars and stuff like that because they're obviously just still humans. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool when you're getting that sort of aspect, and when you go into their bases, like you need to duck and crouch under their doors and stuff like that. I quite like that. I playing this. I was like, I'm going to watch the Avatar movies just to kind of refresh my memory. So I watched the first one, and I'm halfway through the second one, and I'm like, do you know what? It's actually pretty good because you're starting in this game. You're getting a lot of the it's showing you a lot of the Navi clans and stuff like that. So you're getting a wee bit of like, oh, they do this, and these people are these do different things, and these people hunt a different way and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. It opens it up more and just gives you that kind of background story that you maybe don't really get. Especially in the first film, because the first film, then the guy just kind of joins them, and then it kind of does that like, oh, a scene of just music in the background, and you see them doing everything, so you don't really get like why they're doing it. But in the game, they're explaining, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that for this reason, kind of thing. You're like, all right, that's pretty cool. The story's pretty good as well. You kind of, I mean, I don't know if I want to ruin it, but basically, you get took as a child hostage basically, and they try to turn you into kind of like a human Navi. But you're not an avatar. You're an actual Navi. and then you basically break out and you're like, oh, who are we, kind of thing? Where did we come from? So that's the kind of the basic story. One thing in it is they try and promote stealth in it. Like there's even what like, oh, you get 25% better hit rates if you do stealth. This game, I don't know how you even stealth this game. Like it's
It
seems impossible.
doesn't sound like you should
It,
be able to. Like, it sounds like you'd be like the BFG trying to creep about.
I think they try and promote it like you're. The way I was playing it, I was trying to play it was kind of like Predator, you know. I was like jumping on top of trees, branches, and stuff like that, and I was like taking the higher ground and doing kind of stuff like that. But see, once you hit like one or two people, it just does that automatic. Like everybody knows where you are, and they just like turn around, like "Yum," you know, and just aim right at you, and you're like, right, well, how do you do this? It's not Assassin's Creed when you can go in a base and you can stealth near enough every single person. You maybe get caught with the last two or something like that. It's not like that. I think and all the bases I've done have maybe stealthed one, like hundreds of bases, you know. So it's no, it's more. I think it's more focused in action, which it's probably Far Cry is more focused towards that. I have to say, if I'm talking about Far Cry games in this game, this is probably my favourite out of
Oh
them
well,
all.
all right.
I think with Far Cry is you play one of the Far Cries and you're like, ah, the game is amazing. And then you play the next one, you're like, aye, that was more the same. Whereas this doesn't feel like that. This just feels. I think it lends itself well that it's just a total alien world with different things in it and different monsters, and you can fucking fly in a dragon and all that kind of stuff. It just lends itself so well to this environment. But I'm really enjoying it. There's some things in it. Oh, so frustrating. One of the frustrating things is I don't know if the game. I don't know if this was patched in or no, but when you turn it on, it does that Ubisoft thing. Do you want to do this as a exploration game, or do you want us to kind of tell you where to go? And I was like, I've no fucking time for this exploration pish. I was like, just tell me where to go. I turned that on, and I'm telling you, it's still not very helpful whatsoever. Not no helpful.
Oh
There's
well.
literally there's these things where you go and it's like arrays, like sensor arrays. So you've kind of got this like technology gun that you can kind of does like a wee puzzle. So you do it, and then it's like, all right, we'll go and find the other three. Doesn't tell you where they are. You're in a fucking jungle. You know what I mean? That's no. It's
It's
just like
happily.
they'll be here, they'll be somewhere around here, and you're just like, what the fuck? And then
It's no ideal.
it's got that kind of, it's got that thing where it'll be like, oh, by the way, there's a hidden base, so you need to try and find it. Honestly, I spent about 45 minutes and that just no looking. I was like, I'm not going to look YouTube up or nothing. I'm just going to try and do this. I followed where it was, follow this stream. It's beside here. It's probably northwest, looking on a rock and all that shit. And I'm like, right, okay. And I got to the point and I'm like, I know it's somewhere here on the map, but I've not a fucking clue. And it is like your foliage everywhere, trees are fucking 100 foot tall, bushes that are everywhere. And I was like, I'm going to need to look this up. And I swear to God, it was inside like three trees underneath a bush. I was like, how are you supposed to find that? Like, how are you supposed to find that? If you're not looking
Fair.
up videos, I don't know how the fuck you
Aye.
found that. You can't stumble on that. You just can't even stumble on that. And it just that's the shit that frustrates me.
I think I
But
let myself get
I
stuck for like 5 minutes before I look up stuff now. Like, just tell me where it is.
honestly, I see after that I was like, I'm not doing this. I was like, see if I do one of these, I'm just gonna look it up now because it's just I've not got time for this. I'm too old for that pish to be sitting run a bit for 40 minutes to look up try to find one fucking thing. I'm like, no, I can't do this. But I have to say, main missions and all that are good. It's pretty basic. It's your typical Far Cry, like, oh, there's bad guys and there's two bad guys. Oh, this one's did this and this one's did that. Oh, they're the main villains. Oh, they're all on the map. It's that typical Far Cry thing, but I really enjoy it. I'm enjoying it. I'm more enjoying it than I'm not enjoying it. You know what I mean? It just got very frustrating things in it,
That's alright.
especially at the start. Especially at the start when you feel very underpowered. Now I'm starting to get to the point. I think it's kind of. I don't know if it's in. I don't know if there's three parts of the map. I'm not quite sure because it's kind of still clouded. But I think it's three parts of the map, and I'm in the last one, and now I've got like gold weapons and stuff like that. So I'm like, right, I can fucking fight good, and aye, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. It's good.
Good, mate, good.
And can I just say, see when I got that dragon, I was like you with the fucking donkey. in medieval. I'm never after that dragon. I'm never after it. I'm just like, fucking just keep me up. Let's go.
Let's go. Listen, you need to take these advantages when they're there. I had a lot today back in the medieval times. That donkey was well overworked, but I needed it. Every 2 feet, I'm like, right, you, come here. Last game then for me was Avowed. When I wrote these notes, that was the next game I was planning to play, and I managed to play for 1 or 2 nights. Actually, the first night I think I basically just did the very start area, and I wasn't sure how to feel right away. I was probably expecting something that it maybe wasn't. I don't really probably even know what I mean by that, but I was playing. I felt the combat wasn't quite up to much, but when I put it off and I put it back on again, and I thought, you know what, this is actually pretty fun. And I think it's because it lets you do a lot of different combinations. Like you can have 2 different loadouts if you like, so left and right hand. You can equip different things in your left and right hands, I should say. So you start off pretty basic. You find an axe, and then you find a shield. So you first get a bit of the area. You've got shield in the left hand, axe in the right hand. And I had made the decision to go down the kind of before you start the game, it asks like what you want to kind of be in it. It says on it, and I didn't quite understand what it meant, but it says on it that this doesn't restrict your character class. It's just about your story, and it basically gives you some additional or different options during conversation based on what you know. So I went the kind of archer, kind of route, scout archer I think it is, which means you kind of know different areas and know different stuff, so when you're talking you can kind of say what it is. So I very much planned on doing the kind of bow and arrow type stuff with this game, and as I say, it does put you with the axe and shield, and you kind of, it's very very basic in terms of dodge mechanics and that kind of stuff, but they put some things behind like leveling up, so eventually you can parry, do that kind of thing, and on the starting tutorial level they basically give you a mix of every weapon, and I came across the spellbook kind of thing, and you've got your usual spells, fire, ice, that kind of stuff, and I thought, well, I'm just going to stay away from the mage stuff, especially for the time being, and I'm just going to focus on just try to get my hands around, or my head around the combat, and then I get the bow and arrow. So one thing I did like, and I've seen some clips online about like, oh, you're shooting arrows and you don't get them back. It's actually because the arrows are unlimited. Like it's just about shooting. It's just an action game. Like I don't think they would have got away with marketing it as that, but that is what the game is. It's not quite RPG like what Skyrim is or whatever else. Like it's in terms of like a closest comparison, but you're literally just shooting arrows, and I actually really enjoyed that, because right now I'm not looking for a game that I need to go and buy stuff or craft stuff or find stuff or whatever it is to make them. I'm just happy just shooting, and just finding an area, and there's stuff coming towards me, and I'll just hit them. I've got that's just what I'm kind of interested in at the minute. So I probably want to talk more about it the next time. But what I will say is it's very very good. We've got, as I say, combination stuff with the left and right hand. So I've got one set up where it's just a bow and arrow, and then you press triangle, and it quickly switches to whatever that you're planning to do. One thing I was quite surprised at was, so as I'm talking, obviously I'm telling you the usual weapons, but then I came across something, and I was like, I'm playing on the Steam Deck, and I'm like, what did that say? And I clicked on it, and it was like something, what was it, ancient, I can't remember the name. It's not maybe ancient, it's something, maybe another word, gun, so it's a gun, and I'm like, antique gun, that's what it was, antique gun. I'm like, a what? And I clicked on it, and it was a gun, like a pistol gun, and I'm like, what is this? You know, like, I don't even know why do I have a gun? And by the way, like, that gun's so fucking good. Like, so I was cutting a bit with like one axe and a gun. It's because you can put the gun on the left hand, so it's like I'm hitting the guy. You can do like a charge attack. When you do your charge attack, a wee diamond comes on their weak spot, so you can like hit them and you get double damage or whatever. So like, I'm finding that I'm doing all these different combinations and stuff, and I'm actually really enjoying just exploring. So it's going in the different areas, and the way they've done the map, it's the very nice kind of style of the map, and it's you're kind of wandering up towards your objectives, and I'm like, right, I'm going to plot my way back down. I found this cave, and as usual, looking at the cave and spider webs, and I'm going, there's a fucking spider in there, isn't there? And so I went in, and I'm fighting all these wee tiny spiders, and then this kind of bigger spider appears. I fucking get. You've got like special moves and stuff. One of mine is like that you spout roots up and it holds them in place. It makes it really useful if you're hitting them with arrows and stuff. And at the time, I've got this companion with me, so he's in about him, fucking throwing stuff at him, hitting him with I've got my combination where I've got the shield and my spear, and I'm hitting him with the spear and all that stuff. And then I walk away and I fire the last shot, and I walk around this corner and this fucking big red bar appears at the top of the screen. And I'm like, oh, that's the boss, man. There's a boss in there. And I walked round, and I just seen the leg of this big yellow, black, humongous, cartoony, oversized spider. And I'm like, oh, come on. And I peeked round, and it's just got this horrific face, man. I can still picture it there. And I'm like, fuck me. And I managed to cheese it. Like, I managed to like run down this corridor and jump up on the ledge. And as soon as I jumped up on the ledge, it would fucking run away. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not level enough for this, but I'm just going to take advantage of it. So I'd go down and I'd fight it fair until like I thought it was getting the better of me, and I would fucking run away again. It was fucking firing ghost spiders at me. I'm like, nah, this isn't happening. So I managed to take it down, and then I got into eventually got to the first town, and they've got like 6 bounties, and that was one of them. So I could just turn the bounty in right away and get the reward for it. So I thought it was quite cool. As I say, they've got bosses, many bosses and stuff, and most of them are relatively alright. But it was quite fun. I think you can get yourself into a lot of predicaments, which I'm looking forward to seeing. Obsidian are quite good in terms of their their writing and that kind of stuff. I don't think it's the best in terms of the story, but I think they can create a lot of stuff that you come across, whether it be planned or accidental. Like one of them for me anyway was I walked up. I'm quite bad for like walking into an area or a map or whatever, and I'm like, right, I've been left, and right looks like it goes somewhere, so I'll just go right, and then there'll be another two forks to the path, and I'll try and look at both of them so that I'm so I don't miss out on anything. And when I was trying to go through, there was the main objective was straight ahead, and there was a wee kind of stairwell, and I thought I'm just gonna go up there and see what's up there. And this woman was saying to me like, oh, watch out for the people, and it's still in this town, watch out for them, that it's a different kind of I can't remember what they called them, but basically it's like a different kind of person, different race, whatever it is, of people here. They don't take too kindly to this and whatever else. I'm thinking, okay, I'll be fine. We're in the town. I thought because I was inside this city, everything was cool anyway. But I walked in this corner, and there was this big, double the height of me guy, and I'm thinking, right, I will behave. So I was walking by the guy, and I literally like that, right, cool, and I walked along this corridor. I walked up this big path, and there was basically a cutscene started, and there was somebody who kind of sells stuff was there in his wee stall, and there was like 3 people accosting him, and your character starts talking to them, and I was trying to defuse it, talking around whatever else, And then I was noticing that most of my answers were like starting to ask for trouble. So I'm like, fuck it, man, I just got to double down. And so it was a big guy as well. And I'm no big, but bigger. And I thought, well, I've got my pal here. He's a bit heavy duty anyway, and I've got my axe, so let's have it. So I fought him, and I thought, right, that's it done. 3 guys. One guy was still fighting. My companion was still fighting the last guy. So I took to another 2, and I turned around to help him with the other tiny guy. And as I turned around, who's running down the street but big guy? And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, oh no. And he came down, big fucking red line across the screen. I'm like, oh shite. And so I started fighting him, and as he walked down, he just went like a whip and knocked the companion out. So he's down. So it's just me and him. And I kept like hitting him, and then that's exactly what it was. I'm like, so I sticked him in place, and then I was running up the stairs, and I was trying to hit him, and then common theme. I died the first time, and I thought, right, I'm not getting into that fight the next time. But where it took me back to was the fight with the guys. Like, so it was right away. I'm like, right, back into the fight again. I'm like, right, I'm going to need to figure this out here. So I cannot fuck it, the 3 of them. I thought, right, you're staying alive this time, but the big guy came, boff, knocked him out again, and so the 2 of us are fighting. I'm just like Tom and Jerry in it, and I was just running up the bit and hitting him until he runs back down, and he got the better of me for a bit. So I started running away up this big path, and I jumped on this ledge, and he couldn't hit me, but I could hit him. So I'm just firing away at him. I'm like, I'll take the win. I don't care. Cheap win, doesn't matter. So now there's a part of the main city that I can't go in because everybody is an enemy to me if I go in the corner. So I just can't go in the city anymore. I have to stick to the other bit of the city. So, like I said, I think that kind of thing's going to happen. I'm just basically in the starting area, so I think that kind of thing is going to keep happening. Situational, and it's got, I've seen a couple of wee videos where the magic comes in handy, like shooting ice on water, creates a wee platform. So I might need to try and get back into that kind of side. I've made the decision to sack all the 2-handed weapons, so I just keep selling them. I was going to just stay away for the magic, but I feel like I would benefit for using it a wee bit, so I'll maybe try and check that out again if it's going to be helpful, but because I don't see me playing this game like more than once. But last thing is, I will just to circle back to the classes in that again. So even though I've picked Archer, what it was meaning by fixed to that class is you've got like 4 or 5 different ability menus in terms of spending your points, and you can put some of them into each of them. So you've got like fighter, and you've got one for archery, one for mage, just the typical skills classes, and you can kind of spend your points as you see fit in any of them just to try and develop it. So as much as you're trying to maybe focus on the archery bit, it's not actually specifically for, and that's the reason why I ended up taking the gun, because I have a gun that's I think it might be 2-handed. It's mainly like a kind of rifle as well, and as you aim down them, it slows down time by like 25% or whatever it is. So it gives you a wee bit of kind of time to do that and hit a person and then swap weapons, and you've got your shield and spear and all that kind of stuff out. So you spending points in different places is definitely helping, and it just creates it, mix it up a wee bit, which is quite cool. And I think one of the main things is that you can upgrade your weapons without too much. You basically just do a lot of resource gathering and go back to your base and just literally just click on the item and it just upgrades it to like +1, +2 kind of thing. Rather than having to go into all these sub menus and attach different things. It's like strips it right back. Like, have you got the resources? Right, there you go. It's better now. It does more damage. It does this. So it's as much as some people will be like, well, that's quite basic. Like, I actually enjoy it because I just need to get the resources for it, and it's got a weight mechanic, but not on all items. It's only the weapons. So the clothes and stuff you can just carry as much as you like, and I feel like that's pretty good as well because it means you're finding stuff. It's got the transmog thing on, so your character can look, however you want them to look, which is quite good. So it's strange. It's an odd story, a wee bit kind of Dragonborn-esque, where it's like you're the oddball out type thing. But it's you're supposed to be saving people and do whatever, but you've got some sort of amnesia. So it's like try to remember like who you are and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's not reinventing the wheel by any means, but it's pretty fun, and I think it's something that I'm looking forward to checking out again. I think I'm going to take it to I'm going to see my parents at the weekend. I feel I'm going to take the Steam Deck with me. Maybe play a couple hours there and play it on Sunday a bit as well. So it'd be good to just maybe check in a couple of weeks' time and see where we are with that one. Right, I've spoken enough, and we've spoken enough about what we've been playing. By the way, I think that's a fantastic segment. I was listening to one of our older episodes for a few years back now, and it was actually just quite funny. Just like, it's how a snapshot and how I felt, playing a game back then, and it's just funny to see like what I was maybe into at that time and what I was playing and stuff. So quite interesting. I'm glad you decided to put that forward back on episode 3 or whatever it was. It's very, very good. Nice wee time capsule for us.
Yes.
Okay, so before we get into the main event, which is the main review, I thought it would be best to check up on Cheating Rahul and just see where we are. So I'm not going to fix too much of the screen. Oh look, that's my download speed. I'll just click on this and show this. So up here we've got a wee quick update. So we've got a couple of games released. Myself and Gary have got a few games out at the minute. So obviously up the top we're trying to pin back Rahul this year. He has already managed to score pretty decent points there for his Monster Hunter Wilds. He's got one game released and he was looking at an 89 for that one. Myself and Gary are doing pretty well, although our Gary unfortunately has been pegged back a wee bit with his Fable, so boo. The cue the boos with the Xbox, which is a bit unfortunate, but we're looking alright at this point. As as per the rules, we've got 3 empty slots for the start of August. So we'll look forward to seeing what kind of games that we add to that. But what's your thoughts so far on Fantasy Critic? It's just proven year on year that it's just very difficult to probably manage this if you're not quite in the circles, I feel.
Yeah, it's I think this one's been very difficult for counter picks. I feel like this year's gonna be like, if a game doesn't get cancelled, it's gonna be like you're gonna lose points. I feel like so far.
Yeah.
Because I was looking through people's lists the other day, even games that I'd never heard of, and I'm like, that's got potential, but it's just got potential for a banana skin. Like, usually you've got Hoodie that can get a good counter pick after, but even the ones that he picked, like, I'm just like, my god, even the games have got potential to be like 70 to 80s.
Yep.
And Raul just cheats all the time and just phones his lawyer buddies and say, right, what fucking game's coming out? Right, I'll take that game. Definitely coming out this year. Aye, cool, no bother. That's the game I'll take. Fucking out the rest of yous.
Cheating Rahul again. He's managed to pick and pad out his picks with the Mario games, which is we'll see how that plays out with the Switch. I'm not sure when that'll obviously when that'll drop. I got very lucky with it with my counter pick in Fable. I just had a feeling a wee while ago that this just wasn't due to come out. I don't know where the basis of this feeling. Just very guttural. Like, listen, I don't think this is going to be it. I actually feel the same with your counter pick and my choice to pick up Death Stranding. That was more a kind of fuck it, I'm just going to risk it. I don't.
That's what Fable was. Fable was
the time. I'm like, I don't think this is coming out, but at the time I'm like, do you know what? I'm just going to take it just for a bit of theatre.
It's one of the things, if you feel like if you don't take it and it comes out, you've just missed your opportunity to get like a fucking high 80, 90.
AC Shadows. I'm just delayed it. They've delayed it again. I think it's due next month now. And we'll see how that plays out. It does look relatively alright, but it's very rare that anybody delays a game by a month and there's something wrong with it. So we'll just have to wait and see. I feel like I would get away with somewhere between 70 and 80 as long as it's not an 80. Like, I think I should be alright. It's really at the minute it's just trying to play against whatever the rest is on the board. I will say, in terms of the projections and stuff, Rahul's still projected to win by a very small amount of points at the minute, with his Monster Hunter releasing. But I feel like if even just one of the games, if he's still to pick his other counter pick in fairness as well, but I feel like if one of the games kind of lets him down, he'll be open for us to take.
I feel like he's put all his Nintendo eggs in the basket, and I feel like surely they can't have a Mario Kart, a 3D Mario game, and Metroid 4 coming out, and say the space of 3 months for the Switch 2 coming out whenever it comes out. I feel like that's a lot to cram in 3 big titles like for a release. He's got to hopefully lose points in that, because we want Raoul not to win. Boo. We don't want a monopoly.
Boo. Rahul will fall. So I thought it'd be just a wee check in would be good, just to see where things have landed. Some decent points on the board so far, and probably some safe ones for me. So we'll just see how that plays out over the next couple of months. Okay, time for the main event. So as Gary mentioned earlier when we were talking about what we've been playing, we decided that this episode we would do a wee review discussion, I should say, if I can put my teeth back in. Just for us to basically have a wee chat around a game that both of us have played that came out last year, obviously, Star Wars Outlaws, and I think we've got different kind of loves for Star Wars and different kind of feelings towards the games. Mine's are pretty predominantly based around the multiplayer Star Wars games, is not kind of Battlefront for back in the day. Me and Michael used to play that quite a bit when it was basically just getting in the ships and doing the space battles and taking out maps and whatever else. And to be honest, I just let him pick everything, and I just give me the gun and I'll just fight stuff. So I don't have a big sway towards Star Wars games. I like the Jedi games, particularly the first one, to be honest, rather than the second one. So when I seen this originally, I thought, here we go, something a wee bit different. In the end, probably to say this is what I thought it was when I first seen the first trailer. But in terms of Star Wars games in general, I thought this could be a real good kind of standout one. What about yourself in terms of your experience with the Star Wars games? I know you've played a lot more, Unleashed and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I've played most of the kind of single player games. I've played Knights Old Republic 1, 2, Force Unleashed 1, 2, Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order, played mostly everything. I had a shot on the multiplayers as well, Battlefront. So I have played most of the kind of stuff. I don't really touch ones that are just like the whatever the fucking pilot one was called. EA made. I'm not really into
Squadrons.
just like squadrons. I'm not into just kind of like playing as that. I like actual playing as a person instead of being stuck in a car or a vehicle. Um, I've basically played uh, most of the player solo kind of games.
Mm.
So I came into this kind of when I seen the trailer, I was like, they just need to nail this Han Solo feel of this game,
Yep.
and I think they did.
I would say so. I think as it was getting closer, I definitely, was looking forward to checking it out. I can't remember what it was that we're playing, like, or maybe it was because there was so many bugs and stuff as well. I just thought, you know what, I'll see you at Christmas time.
Yep,
So
wise decision.
it was more, as much as I was excited, I was definitely like willing to wait until it was like something that was reasonable, something was good. And
Yep.
I just like a bit of Star Wars at Christmas. I don't know what that is. Like, it's just that kind of feel about it. It's just, especially like a kind of bigger game. I've got much more time over the break, that kind of thing. So I was probably just, excited to get stuck in, during the break. And I think in the end, I was looking forward to actually checking it out. I think were you probably similar in that sense?
I mean, Ubisoft games, you need to get a good 6 to 8 months berth. I think. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't even touch a Ubisoft game now. I think if the last one that I bought day release was Division 2. Apart from that,
that was so good.
I've never bought a Ubisoft game day release just because their track record is poor, and plus Star Wars game track records are poor for recently are coming out broken. So I'm so happy that I waited because it feels like when you see the reviews, a lot of people quite rightly dampened it with that. Well, I didn't. I think I experienced 2 glitches the entire time I played it.
Mm.
So I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I've played it when I did. But I was looking forward to it. I'm the exact same as you. I was looking forward to it, but I was like, I can wait for this. And play it when I kind of want it more than need it.
Yeah. What glitches did you get? I got two as well. One of them was like climbing
I
a ladder.
got I got one when I was riding my speeder and I fell right through the world. And I had one when I was rope swinging.
Uh,
And funny enough, I actually had this one in the Fallen Order as well, even though it's 2 different companies. But I had this when I was doing the rope. Every time I went to jump the rope, I would jump like left instead. Or I would jump a direction instead of jumping forward.
that's funny.
And the cliff face, I would always jump like sideways, and then it's not my controller. Before anybody thinks it's the actual controller's fucked.
I think
I
it
play
is.
in three different controllers. So
Oh, they're all broke. That's
and
a shame.
I don't know what it is. Just every time I was rope swinging, just sometimes she would just jump to the side instead of forward. And
It's
it's
funny
just funny that
you
I've had
playing
that.
that after me, and I never got that. I feel like that happens to us quite a bit
Yeah,
with the
and that
Star
literally
Wars
happened
games.
with Fallen Order.
Yep.
No, was it Fallen? Fallen Order. I had that one, and I also had the one when I was wall running in that game.
Yep.
But my wall running, every time he went to wall run, he would just fall back
Yeah.
down. Like
Yeah.
it wouldn't do it. And I'm like, I'm stuck, like, because I'm actually stuck here because I can't fucking wall run. I'm texting you and like, fucking can't wall run this game. You're like, I've had no glitches in this
No,
game.
totally fine.
I'm
I don't
like,
know what the score
fucking
is with
hell.
that. It's the same playing
Aye.
Cyberpunk as well. Like I was like away. You were bricking your gay fucking consoles.
Aye,
Um,
PlayStation. I know.
the I had two. One, as I say, with the ladder. I was climbing a ladder and was a guy at the top, and I decided just to try and like get up, thinking it would move the guy away. But no, it just decided that it would resolve the logic query of can two people occupy the same space by making me go inside the building, and I mean as in inside, like inside the shell of the building. So I can see inside, and I couldn't get back out again, so I had to load. I think I lost 5 minutes or something like that, which was fine. And then I think maybe only one other one would be my speeder got stuck like underneath something that was like inside one of the wee villages. It was like underneath like somebody's like the wee things that the other stuff was underneath. The wee, I don't know what the word for it is, but the cover on the post, it was like it was like behind one of the posts, so the prompt to get on the speeder wasn't able to get on it, which it's fine, totally, like no really an issue. I was running away and I was trying to call on it and it wouldn't come. Whatever. So nothing really too drastic in that sense. So I was pretty happy with terms of glitches and that kind of stuff. Not really got any big problems with it, I would say. Probably one place we should maybe start is the choice on the main character. Actually, I would say. I mean, Kess. I was fine with a character that I didn't know. I don't, as much as people might be like, oh, it's Han Solo-esque, maybe, would it have worked if you were just like a kind of, young Han Solo? I think I'd heard somebody pitch that at one point, and I thought, do you know what, it's good being somebody else that you don't know their story, what they're like, whatever else. And actually I thought it played off pretty well. It played into, I should say, the almost like a kind of 50s, that kind of neon style, in terms of the bob cut and all that kind of thing on her hair, but it definitely played into a kind of a time era kind of throwback to make you think what's back in the day or whatever else. But I thought that she was entirely inoffensive, would be how I would kind of highlight. And at times I thought she's got a wee bit of kind of gumption about her, a wee bit that kind of humour and stuff, but at the same time very much kind of small fish in a big pond as well. Like she'd literally like do a wee bit and then she just get kicked to the side or whatever else. Like she's very like know the main character as much as it was our main character. Like she wasn't the main character, which I thought was pretty fun. It's not like you're using your speeder gun around tunes and like people were like, oh, it's Kess, it's just like it's just you, like nobody knew who you were. It felt like she kept having to like introduce herself, which I thought was quite good. Did you have any kind of thoughts?
I agree with everything what you just said. I couldn't elaborate any more, and that's literally what I text Sean one day, or we talked about, I can't remember, and I says, do you know what I really like about this game? I just like that you just feel like anybody else that you see in the cantina in like a movie. Like see when they just pan in a cantina and it's just like shots of all the aliens and the people just sitting there. I was like, that's what Kess feels like when you're playing it. You don't feel like you're like somebody that's going to change the entire galaxy. And I like that. That's what I've always wanted for Star Wars. See when they keep bringing Star Wars films out, but they're like, oh, we're going to need today. Like, and don't get me wrong, I actually quite like the Obi-Wan and the Book of Boba Fett. But I feel like, why do we always need to like bring up these characters and stuff like that? Why can we not have something new and something that doesn't even relate maybe to like the actual the wars and all that kind of stuff? Why can we not just have? I've always thought, how it'd be class to have like an alien-esque movie in Star Wars. Like it's about like they get exact same as Alien. They get stranded in like space with an alien or some sort that's trying to destroy the ship. Like I just think that would be class. That'd be class for Star Wars, and they just use some sort of Star Wars creature and they just fucking have to fight this thing. I think that'd be like a class idea. And I always thought stupid things like that would be a good idea. Like I remember watching Sienna. Oh, was the Sienna? I can't remember what the other Formula One film's called. The one with Chris Hemsworth. I remember watching that one time and I was thinking to myself, do you know what? Star Wars would be really cool if they did like that was a time where Star Wars films were all starting to come out. And they were doing all the kind of like not Andor, like Rogue One and stuff. And I was thinking it'd be cool if they did some sort of like pod racing film. Like it was just all about like pod racing. And that's the kind of stuff I like, and that's what I feel like this game was. Although it's definitely got that Han Solo, like this is Han Solo basically, but you're a woman. But I did really enjoy it. I really enjoyed her. I thought the voice actor was really good. She's quirky. She's got that Ellie kind of feel to her. She's quirky, but can be a wee bit cheeky, kind of, and I like that. I like it. She's kind of got this no shit attitude, but I'm just gonna like stick to myself, and I'm just all about myself, which you would need to have if you were in that kind of line of work, because everybody's just trying to screw you over. I thought she was really good. And I agree with everything you said. The haircut, like, harking back to the 70s, 80s sort of haircut, excuse me. It was great.
You mentioned there, everybody else try to kind of screw you over on that. But what did you think of the other characters? Was there any kind of standouts? I think for me, the one of the big ones, I love the relationships that you get in some shows between the main character and like the robot ones and stuff. That in D5 was brilliant. Like, I think they done quite a bit with him and probably left some stuff on the table and that as well, in terms of like what they could have probably done with him. But I feel like that's probably one of the big ones for me. There was both between that and I would say the faction leaders. The pike boss that you meet at the start was pretty good. I actually really enjoyed him, like how he came off. Obviously, we meet others and stuff, but I just felt like, I don't know if it's because he was the first, but I just get a good kind of, right, you're a bad cunt, and I'm just going to enjoy actually like working with you type of thing, So I wholeheartedly tried the full time not to have any negative pike, and unless I could avoid it. But what about yourself, mate, for standouts or anything?
ND5 definitely, and I quite like the story arc for ND5. I like that it was actually just to be there, just to make sure you didn't like run away and stuff like that. And he was like, "I will shoot you, I will shoot you if you try to go away. Don't even think about it." And then his full arc at the end, he wants to help you, but he's kind of obliged not to help you. But I do like that full arc, and it was nice to have a companion in Star Wars that wasn't just your best pal straight away. It was something you had to kind of work on. I have to say, a negative is World War II Jacob, or World War One Jacob.
That was funny, man.
The other thing I want to say is about the rest of the crew. Useless. I thought they were it was a waste of time even having them in it. Like, I know what was to fulfill the story about you needed a hacker, or you needed this person, you need this person to like get in this bank basically. But I just was like, there's so many games that have done building a crew and getting to know them better. I just felt it was just felt sort of rushed. It was kind of like, oh, I really need you for my crew. One big mission, and they're like, oh, I'm your best pal, and I'm in your ship now. And it's like, right, well, I'm not going to talk to you till the end. And it's like, that's not how you do these things. Like, I harken back and I think I like Mass Effect, or funny enough, like Knights Old Republic. That's the same. That's about building a crew, same as Mass Effect, and these people become your companion in the game, and you can talk to them, and then you need to, even if you do a mission to bring them in, then it's also like, oh, by the way, I've actually got something else that I really need help with. Can you maybe do this extra mission to help me do this, and then I'll be your best pal kind of thing, and I'll maybe tell you my story through it. But it was none of that. It was just like, boom, one mission, you've helped me, cool, I'm right in, I'm your best pal, I'll see you in the ship. And I was just like, it was so like, it just felt, especially when you were getting that relationship with ND5, and it was like there wasn't really much space for them even to be there, apart from just being like fodder basically in your ship.
I think the other way they could have done it is maybe like, all right, you done me a favour, count me in, and they weren't on the ship. They were just they would just join you later, like, rather than like being there. Like, obviously you see them kind of working on stuff in the background and whatever else, but it just didn't. I definitely weigh you, like, when you're running past them, especially that the wee woman. Like, I think she was quite funny, but it just didn't. I thought they would explode some of it a wee bit more, just the same as what you're saying. But I think that they just felt a wee bit kind of. It was weird when I was doing the main story, like, we'll get into this a wee bit later, but obviously I've put at the end for us to just run through the DLC. I bought that quite early on, the one for the wildcard one, because I quite liked Zabak game, we'll talk about that soon, but I quite liked that, and I thought, you know what, I've been gifted this game and the DLC was on sale. I'm just going to buy this because I'm actually quite like playing it, and I think that'd be a good mission. So if I had already got like diversions for the main story, but at one point I was doing the main story and thinking, like, this feels dead rushed. Doing that, so I feel that's maybe part of that, is that it just feels like you were maybe they thought it was made as if you were just going to do the main story, like they two being there on that ship. It's like you were just getting them and then gone. Like there was no a big passing in time, like where there was so many side quests and so much other stuff that it probably hurt it a wee bit, the fact that they were already on your ship.
Yeah. I agree. I think another character we've not talked about is wee Nix, the wee axolotl creature. That, you know, it's funny because you use it at the start and it's like, it's just really cool. Like, I mean, she's a smuggler and she steals stuff and all that, and it's kind of like you walk by, you can steal make Nix pickpocket people and steal keys and whatever else, and you're like, she's pretty useful actually. Or he, I don't know if it was a boy or lassie, I don't know. It's like, that's quite useful. And then as I was fighting, I forgot sometimes I could even like get her to do stuff. You know,
I
like,
used to quite a lot.
It was be times like the security cameras, and I was like, I didn't use her for that whatsoever.
I didn't use it for that either.
I never really used it for picking up guns and whatever else. But I have to say, I just quite liked having that wee creature about with me. Like, I enjoyed it. I even enjoyed the like sort of wee side missions where it was like they were just had at the wee cantina and they're just at the wee cafe sitting eating, and it was just a wee stupid, just a wee downtime wee game, wee mini game that you had to play and eat the food, and it was just like their wee relationship. It was very strange. Avatar's got something like that as well, by the way, and it is the weirdest thing ever. Avatar's got this sort of hand yoga thing in it.
Right, okay.
And it sort of like plays music. It's very much supposed to be Ghost of Tsushima, you know, like when you're meditating and stuff.
I hated that.
It's
with
very
Ghost
much
of Tsushima,
like
the haiku,
but
and
it's
all
like
that.
you use the two analog sticks and like it's like different patterns, and you have to like go like that, like with it's That's so weird. It's so weird. And it goes on for way too long as well. So they've obviously they like a wee mini game, Supermassive.
It's funny with the next thing. I didn't really appreciate that. Obviously they are another character, but when I think I used them mostly for stealth stuff, like distracting people, because you can distract eventually multiple people, and that did kind of help. You know, get them away from where it, especially when you're doing the stormtroopery stuff, whatever, just to get them out the road. So that's probably the bulk of what I would use them for. I had one eye on the platinum at one point. I seen one of the trophies was for you to kill people with the items that Nix picked up. So I did start using that a wee bit, but I didn't really like using the guns, just mainly because you only had like one clip, which is fine, it's realistic, whatever, but I just preferred using the gun that you had, mostly the explosive one actually, because it done kind of damage, like area of damage, rather than like a single shot. I would just, you know, trying to like shoot in between two people, and it would make them kind of fire, and then I'd start shooting one of them, pick them off, whatever, and do it that way. So I think that's how I would generally kind of use them. I'd pick up a gun every now and again. So mostly when just try to get that trophy, probably.
Yeah.
But
I think it tries to force you to pick up guns at certain points of the story, doesn't it? Where you've got no choice, where it's like, it's like 18 guys here, I need to do something. But no, it was funny. I quite liked I did quite like exploring the guns because it was always it's guns that everybody knows if you've ever watched a Star Wars editing. You know, it's got the blaster like Stormtrooper blaster, and it's got like the short the kind of Mandalorian's kind of gun, but it's like a short version of it and stuff
Yep.
like that. Which I was like, I want to shoot that, and I shot it, and I was like, oh, this is pure shit.
Yep.
I was like, oh, that's pretty upsetting. But I did quite like going through it. Actually, that was a problem I maybe even had with the game was the lack of arsenal. Like her just having her wee pistol. Know that it was
Aye.
bad, and I know that it gave you kind of that sort of different shot types, like the fire, the quick fire, the plasma, and the explosive. But I kind of felt like maybe you should have just been able to had that second gun on you at all times, just to be like, right, well, I've got a gun, a second gun. I don't know, but
Aye.
there wasn't a pure mood killer or anything. But I just kind of thought but I don't know how long it took me, maybe 30 hours in, I was like, man, I could be doing with a second type of gun or something here.
Aye. I think I was predominantly so stealth orientated that
Aye, aye,
I wasn't too fussed about it as much as it would have been helpful when you were when you get caught.
mhm,
But most of the time, even when you get caught, like I was just hiding until they all forgot where I was again, and then I would just
yeah,
try and
yeah,
start taking them out again. That was kind of how I was. So I wasn't too fussed, and because you had such a wide, amount. Obviously, you were switching to the explosive. I switched through the explosive quite a bit. I thought it was quite fun. And I was using the takedowns a lot, so it's like distract one person and then take down the other one, and then take them down. The person
yeah,
that next was jumping on. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was mostly focused on that kind of thing. So I wasn't too fussed. But good point though. In terms of the guns, I did one point. I'm like, oh, I wonder if the sniper would be quite good. And it was like so slow, and I'm like, this isn't that fun. So I switched and just I felt like just the actual normal pistol was pretty fine. In terms of just try to pick off a couple of people and then keep moving for there. It was
Yep.
all right. It was good enough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, switching between that and explosive one. So that's pretty cool. Most of the time, it's weird for most games. I tend to stay away from the kind of the mini gamey kind of stuff, especially like say where you've got games, even like Red Dead and stuff, where they've got the gambling and stuff on it. Just mainly because I know how much time that it takes sometimes to learn. And when I first started playing, the first one I done was actually the kind of horse racing bit. And I'm like, do you know what? I could see this far enough. Obviously, later on in the game, I should have said this at the start, by the way. As much as this is just completely spoiler free for all, just because we don't have the discipline to do otherwise. We'll keep it light where we can, but mostly this is we're just kind of going all in. So feel free to skip or come back when you've finished the game. But what I will say is when I first started the game, and as seeing the horse racing, I'm thinking this is nonsense. And then obviously as you go through the game, you hear people talking about it and going, "Oh, this race, he's," and I'm like, "Fucking take all my money, man! He's going to win." It's a guaranteed money winner. And a couple of other gambling things I quite liked was the wee game that you're searching for which tile the thing's behind, and inside the cantinas. Loved that game. The first time I played Sabak, I don't know why I'm so. What gave me the right, I should say, that I decided to skip the tutorial on how to play that game. But I'm like, it's cards. How hard can it be? And I just thought, skip, play. Let's do it. But I was probably in a party chat at the time, so I wasn't concentrating. Maybe that's what it was. But I'm looking and going, what the fuck is going on here? And I was like, oh, I'm supposed to get the lowest, right? Okay. And I'm like, this is fucking shite. And then I I was talking to Hoodie, and Hoodie was like, "What do you think of that?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not into it, mate." And he's like, "Oh, honestly, go maybe check YouTube and see, but it's super fun. This, the next thing." And I'm like, "Right, okay, whatever." And I don't know if I maybe did look it up, or I just went and tried it again. I thought, just stick in it, man. It's not that much money to play it anyway, so just try it again. And fuck me, man, I was like, oh my god, this is class. Like, just so fucking good. Don't get me wrong, some of the when the high stake people that you play against later on, I'm like, you're fucking at it, you're cheating.
Cheating bastards.
Aye, not even like in-game cheating, like you are in the code cheating. I tried to do the photo mode and see what cards people were holding, because I was trying to take a photo, which is the thumbnail for this, by the way, so you see in the thumbnail. But I put on photo mode just so I could get a photo of me and kind of land on the background. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be pretty cool. And I was like, oh, actually, I'm in photo mode. I wonder what I can see. And I spin it around to like Lando's cards. And I'm like, oh, this fucking cunt's got two of the called two of the actual things. I'm like,
no, they're called size. Is it scythes? I don't know what they're called.
So
they're called something weird.
Two of them, right? And I'm like, oh, fuck off, man, he's got two of these. And I looked at the other person's and it was the same, so all of them had that, and I'm like, oh, they've not actually got that, that's just a symbol that it shows, like, because they're obviously thinking, right, people are going to try and cheat here. So I tried to cheat. I'm going hands up. I tried.
Yeah, that was like an idea, by the way. I never really thought of that.
So so that was part of the, as I said, DLC.
How funny that would been if that was just left in. It was just like, see if you found that, you cheating bastard, but that was good on you.
But I was very, very really enjoyed it. I was aggressive with it. It was like just sitting back and then like just taking everybody slowly, just chipping away at. Like when I first started playing it, I was like, right, here you go, swap card. And eventually, and after time, I'm like, you spend all your points if you want. I'm going to stick with the. It was I'd say they're relatively generous. They didn't challenge you a lot until it got a wee bit later on, and they were using like really funny chips where it's like, he doesn't get to, fucking play any cards this round. You're like, hold on a minute, man. I'm like,
aye.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
The one that fucked me like a couple of times was the one that was turn it back away.
Yes,
like when it was they have to get the sixes instead of getting the ones, and I was like, fuck that, fucked me up for
I'm like, I've only got one round left.
Aye.
Aye, that did get me once or twice. I can't remember the other one. There was a stupid one, but one of them was just, that I liked the one for that didn't cost you anything to play, and I liked the one where you got like a refund back and stuff. So it was just basically my tactic was to like see out at least one other player at the table without spending much. And then they once they get wiped out, it's like, right, here we go again. I'm coming for you, kind of thing. So, because you could get quite far with just having the points on the board. What did you think about the special cards, like the dice one and all that? Did you go for that, or did you kind of leave that?
What, the cheating ones?
No, I was going to go and get the weighted die. I have a story about that. I'll tell you that later, but when
the fucking ones that you had to roll the
actual
dice
card and roll the dice, did you stay away from them?
I think I won maybe once, maybe twice with one of them, but no, I tried to stay away from them. They were too much of a gamble for me.
Aye. Did you cheat? What cheats did you use?
Oh, I used them all.
Aye, so I liked the extra card one. Like that was
extra card was fantastic.
That was pretty good.
Fantastic.
When that first got introduced, I'm like, oh, that's class. You can actually cheat. Was there, I never used it, but was there one you could get next to go and look at?
Aye, next can look at all the cards.
Aye, I never used that.
Look at everybody's card. Oh, you missed a trophy.
Aye. I did see that. But I knew you could do it, but I couldn't. When I was trying to do it, I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I just left it. And then I may as well get into it, but when I was looking and I seen that you could go and get the weighted die, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm going to try and get that. So I was on whatever, but I don't know, it was tattooing one of the starting things were for this. I was going to talk about this a wee bit later on when we get into the kind of missions and stuff, but I thought that a lot of the side quest ones were actually pretty cool, like, you know, in terms of like what you could do, what you could get into. And when I was trying to get it might even not have been the weighted die now that I think about it, but it was either that or like a missile or a turret or something, whatever it was I was trying to do. It was to go and talk to somebody, and they would kind of tell me what's happening, and then, you know, they were saying like, oh, you go and what are the wee people called again that go and steal everybody's stuff and sell all the scrap and
Jawas.
That's it, Jawas. So you go to try and it's like, oh, they were in here recently, like you need to go and you know, track them down, and I'm like, this is class, like I'm just trying to get this thing, but I'm actually away now and I need to go and deal with them, and eventually, like, I got to this area. By the way, I hated the tattooing map, but we'll get there later, but I kept falling and like breaking my bike to the speed up. But anyway, I went up this bit and scaled this cliff and talked to them, and they were like, oh, well, fucking trade you, you know, like, it's not even sell me the fucking part that I needed to trade it. So I had to go and do a space battle to try and get whatever the bit was, and then come back and see them eventually. But I thought it would have been quite, as much as the big travelling kind of unit was there, I thought they missed the trick by having it somewhere that it was moving, and I thought that would have been quite fun, like to like it'd be like, oh, you know, they could have set it up with like, oh, I seen, you know, the Jawas and they had that, but they're actually like, you know, are there, and by the time they get there they'll have sold all your stuff, so you get, you know what I mean, you've got like 10 minutes to go and find them. I don't know, but anyway, you go and do that. But you know, met the Jawas, and then you're away fighting a fucking big man-eating fucking bug thing that's shooting out of the sand, like, and that's all side quest stuff, like you can completely ignore all that, like it's absolute madness. So I really enjoyed that side as well. But I back to the gambling. All elements of that I thought go hand in hand with the whole kind of gangster-esque mob feel about it. Like I'm going into this new environment. Where the fuck's is the back table first? I'm going to go and try and find
exactly what it's like.
Who's got that. A couple of people put me in my place, but it was good.
It's like, where's that fucking high rollers table? As soon as you land, it's like, let's get this fucking done.
Let's get it. I'm for having yous. No, really.
I loved that. I thought it was great as well. I thought that it was just so elegantly done, and it was just so fun. It was so fun, even collecting all the wee bits and all the wee special kind of tokens and stuff like that. And then you start to, like, it's funny listening to you. Like I had like some sort of a strategy as well, you know. And I'm sure everybody's got different strategies and cards that they like, or different stuff. I always used the immunity one. So you got in round where nobody could touch you, could nobody do any tokens to you. I love that one. I always used it the first round, because then everybody was always using the take money off them, take cards off them, take money off them.
They were quite aggressive.
The first round's always very. So it's funny listening to everybody's kind of got different tactics for that, but it was great. That is probably the second best. I still think Gwent was my favourite card game, but in a game. But Sabak was definitely up there. Even to the point I was like, somebody's got to have made like Sabak into a game. Like it's got to be somewhere on Etsy or something. Like somebody's got to have made this just because it was fucking actually really fun.
There was very simple premise to it. I thought on the surface it looked much more complicated. But in the end, it was actually very, very, very good, and I felt like they never really took advantage of you as much as they really could have. And that obviously it was just more geared towards, well, you're able to cheat, so it's harder for us to mess with you, kind of thing. But other than the odd second card, I actually didn't use too much. Even with the DLC one, which was again, I was going to talk at the end, but the DLC is the wild card, which is wholly surrounding this, high stakes game that you are. You manage to. You don't actually get invited. You're trying to get into it. Again, Lando is kind of surrounding him, and the idea is that you're trying to first try to. You need an invite basically to get in, and you've got to try and track down the person that's got the invite, and using different clues and different stuff here in this kind of casino ship type place. Eventually you manage to kind of worm your way to play against them, and after a wee bit it kind of ends up all kicking off basically, and it leads to this kind of major story arc across this maybe 4 hours of gameplay. If you ever see it on discount, it's definitely worth checking out. It's not like Sabak DLC, like you don't play like Hunter's Mirror, and it's just that you're at the table with him playing and stuff. It's just, there's a lot of cinematics and things during it, but it was pretty good. It fitted really well as well. I didn't play at the very end like a lot of people would have played it in post game, but I actually just played it right after you actually do the main Lando missions for him in the main story. So I thought it fit quite well for me, because I just felt like I had like an extended session with him, and then moving on to the rest of it without too much impact. So anyway, I felt like it was worth the extra money that I paid for the DLC. I don't want to really spoil it just because you've not played it either, but it's worth checking out. There's loads of a mix of different stuff and space battles and all that kind of stuff, and it's actually quite interesting. Well, it's not quite like the Cyberpunk DLC. It's not as like massive as that in terms of making a statement, but it was very, very good for as I say 4 or 5 hours, whatever it was, but worth checking out. But gambling in the game, really, really, really good. Loads of opportunities to play. As I say, the horse racing, the wee insider bets and stuff like that was pretty funny. And the wee computers.
Yeah, I like that as well.
It's good. Good. You felt like you were getting it's like the GTA stock exchange thing over again. Like you had the wee bit of insider knowledge. I'm just going to take advantage of that. So it's pretty fun. When I got the game, there was a code inside to get a separate skin for the speeder and the ship. Can't remember what they called the ship. It's not called that. It's something Renault in it.
Oh fuck! What was it called? Oh god!
Let me see, because I've got this thing sitting here. It's just Trailblazer. So I had basically like when I didn't use it right away. I did this thing when basically what I was trying to do was like anytime I did like a major upgrade to the Trailblazer, I would then change the skin. So if I got some, I felt like I didn't unlock anywhere near all the skins. I didn't really do a lot of the side, probably a lot of the side stuff that you could unlock them. Because I played the game for quite a bit, and then stopped, and then went back to it again. I think I maybe played 30 something hours in the end, so it's not like I didn't play that much yet, but I don't feel like I unlocked that many. But even still, I was unlocking them, and then I was like, right, I've just got a big massive turret there, or I've just increased the hull defense, so I'm going to change the skin to this one. Probably done that until I got a dark one, and then just stuck to the dark one. But that's what I was trying to do. Like, so I did the same with the actual speeder. Like, when I got a big upgrade for that, I would change the skin. It was like, oh, this is as if I get a new bike or something. Like, just wee stories that you tell yourself to just elevates things. But the Trailblazer was very clunky, I thought. I don't know if you felt the same.
Especially at the start. I did remember getting in it, and I was like, oh, it's going to be so cool, and a fucking starship. Oh, here we go. And they got up, and I was like, oh, there's baddies there, and I was like, go and shoot them, and I started shooting them, and they were like fucking all over the place, and I was like, and I felt like I was fucking driving the Titanic. I was like, what the fuck, man? I was like, I can't
Aye,
even move this thing. I was like, it's not
aye.
even moving. And then by the end, when you've got all your upgrades, you're like fucking, you're pretty agile, and you can fling it about a lot more, and you've got your rockets and stuff like that. But
Think like No Man's
that
Sky's
definitely
got
set up.
something to think about that, because that's what our predominant space battles
Probably,
were in. They were a lot lighter.
probably. I would say that No Man's Sky is definitely better for dogfighting and stuff like that. This you can tell that it's no like they didn't invest all the time in this, you know.
Yeah,
But when I think of like Ubisoft and their sort of like side stuff for this, like I always kind of harken back to like Black Flag, and I think like the ship battles in that, and they were fucking awesome in that, like so good. And I think back to then I think to this, and I'm like, the in comparison, no, it's no nowhere near as good. But I have
aye,
to say, I have to say, when you get into a fight with whoever, like if it's the Wanted factions or if it's the Empire, and you're fighting away, and then it's like fucking let's go hyper, you know, like hyper speed here we go.
aye,
You know, it
aye.
does.
Punch it.
It's definitely got that Star Wars feel about it, which I did enjoy, but it's definitely very clunky though. Definitely.
Aye. Cut to the speeder though. How'd you feel about the
So
speeder? Handled a wee
so
bit like a jet ski, didn't it?
so. Know what that really annoyed me about the speeder was they literally had the models for the actual speeders that you know in Star Wars. They've literally got the models for
Oh
them,
yeah, I know.
and the stormtroopers use them, and then they give you like this fucking dirt bike version, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Aye.
what the fuck? Don't give me
Aye.
that. Give me like that's like a Harley Davidson or a dirt bike. You know what I mean?
Aye.
Give me the Harley Davidson. Like
I,
I don't
I,
want this
aye.
fucking. Even there's even a bit where you're doing a bit. And I can't remember. I think it's in the jungle place, and you're doing missions for a guy, and he's like, "Fuck Jesus, where did you get that antique?" He was like, "Does that thing even work?" And all that, and you're like, "Fucking driving this stupid thing about," and they're all kicking about and fucking cracking big speeders, and I'm in this wee shitter. So I was pretty. Do you know when I first started upgrading it, I was like, oh, surely I'm going to be upgrading it, and it's going to have the big long front and all that. And I'm like, maybe it's just an upgrade coming. And then I'm like, no, it's just paint. That's not going to change. And
Yeah.
then, but by the end, you're like, well, whatever. That is what it is. A mode of transportation.
I quite enjoyed the especially the kind of feedback on the controller for the accelerator.
Mhm.
The noise was very cool as well. I thought it was quite good actually getting around the map, especially at the starting map. I quite enjoyed it with the open space and it felt me very much like a safari almost, like with all the animals and stuff, with the big oasis and like rivers and stuff. So I was
Once you start getting the upgrades, it definitely helps, like the
aye,
jump and the boosts and all that kind of stuff. It definitely feels much better then. But I just it was the looks. I was like, why not just give me that other speeder? But aye, I know what you mean.
I seen them quite a few times, and I was like, it would be quite cool if you even just get one shot of them rather than, it doesn't need to be like a big thing or whatever. I kept crashing into like bases and stuff with mine. Like, I was going like far too fast with the speeder, and it was like 100 fucking yards or meters, whatever the fuck the measurement is. And then all of a sudden I'm like crashing into the bit, and I'm like, oh shit, every cunt knows where I'm now. Like that happened like more times than I would care to admit. But I did enjoy using it, and obviously a wee hint there with the felt a wee bit like a jet ski. Obviously you get an upgrade and you end up being able to get cross the water stuff. I really enjoyed that. Enjoyed how it handled. It played actually quite natural on the water, which was quite cool. I took, I don't know, about 30 fucking screenshots with that area where you're like boosting over bits. Or like I was like hard turning and spraying all the water up, and then like getting into photo mode and see just stupid stuff. It's probably what 10 hours in my 34 hour playtime was just me stopping taking photos. But I did enjoy the speeder entirely. As you say, mode of transport is right. But I did enjoy it. Strange, the calling for it was weird though. Like as if it was like a horse or a person or whatever. But whatever, it's fine. I did enjoy that.
How many times did you call it and it drove away for you when you're trying to get it?
Aye, Hannes.
Aye, did that to me loads of times. I suppose that's a glitch, but I wouldn't really class it in there. But it's,
like 1 in 5.
I was like, I'm chasing this, and I was like, see if I just stop, will it stop? like, you know what I mean? I was trying different things, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this thing?
1 in 5, it would run away from me. 1 in 10 would be the cool, like where it was coming to me, and I would press it and jump on it and drive away, like as it was, and that was pretty cool. But very rarely would that actually work. It would shoot away, or I would shout on it, and then like people would get alerted to it, like because it was like still counting as being like over there, and they'd be like, what the fuck's happening? I'm like, oh shh. You know what I think would be? Do you know what I think would have been quite cool? I think it would have been quite cool to like you had different vehicles, maybe even different maps. I know that's a lot more work, but maybe like having the Wii one, like the Wii speeder, and like maybe the first map, and then when you go to the jungle map, maybe like because they had their own like fucking weird speeders. It was like some sort of like, you know what I mean? Like it was like a fucking roof and tap it. It was like a weird bike. Looked like a sort of like fucking tricycle, not a tricycle, one of the big fucking ones with a massive wheel. Kind of looked like one of them. And then maybe like when you go to Tatooine, then maybe get a proper like big speeder. Maybe such a big area.
Just for a different feel of different things, but I don't know. That's just a gripe. It's just a gripe, but
I was the two.
I just kind of think when they've got these different vehicles in it, they've obviously worked on them. Like they had the land speeders and stuff in it, and you drive by them, and it's like, oh, you can't get in them. She doesn't know how to drive it, and apart from this one dirt bike speeder.
It's probably as a characteristic trait you could say as well. Like, it was just like this all day kind of thing. Like it's no like. This isn't my priority. Like this is work, so I'm fine. Like I felt like, do you know, I was going to say earlier and I forgot, but when I was talking about like winning the money and all that kind of stuff, like I don't feel like I really went and bought that much or done that much. Like I didn't. No. It's other than like maybe a few upgrades. Like when I was really trying to do the upgrade, I didn't really upgrade like hundreds. I didn't try and spend a lot of time doing that, but I thought maybe that's when you would be like try to spend your credits. But for the lion's share of the game, like was very, not that fussed. The only time I'd spent a lot of money was, and I said this to you before as well, was when I was going on to like new areas. I would go and buy a wee outfit that made me look like I was in that place, because I didn't want to run a bit with our mad rocker jacket the full game. It was good getting into a place, and then I realised that the outfits have effect on stuff, and I'm like, oh shite. So again, transmog, and you can just set it to whatever you want to do and get the extra. Cause I think one of the outfits in the DLC, or just one of the outfits, was the extra luck with playing Sabat and gambling and stuff. So he had like an actual gambler's outfit. He looked a wee bit like a pimp though. It was flashy looking, so I tend not to wear it. Actually wear it, like present it. So it was a bit weird. But that's only about the only time I really spent credits was buying outfits, probably.
There wasn't really much to buy, to be fair. That's what they could even had like buy weapons and stuff like that, but like a side weapon that's the main weapon, but whatever. I get by the end of the game I had 60 or 70,000 credits, and it's like I didn't really have anything to buy. Like a lot of the costumes you find, or even then, it's as you said, like you had to buy 3 like sets of the same gear to get the buff. So maybe like one of like the boots or something was maybe in a shop, but then you have to find the other 2. So it's not like you had to buy like entire lots of clothes in it either. So I suppose that's supposed to be like she's accumulating money for herself, but Aye, there wasn't really much to buy.
No, I'd have to agree. Obviously I mentioned there about different outfits for different areas and whatever else, so probably brings us on to the maps and talking about what's, what we felt about them. I was not too offended by any of the places, if you want to even call it that, but I felt like I quite enjoyed all of them. Felt like maybe the only comment I would maybe say would be the kind of wintery ice place was too small. It could have been much bigger. It was basically just a town and that was it, unless I'm missing something, but I felt like it could have been done with being like the same size as the other areas where you could go out and explore and see a wee bit more. I thought that would have been probably good, but other than that, Tatooine, as I said earlier, I kept falling off all the changes in heights and getting lost. Could have been maybe doing with that wee like wayfinder, like mini map, something, anything, to show like where you were supposed to go. That would probably have been handy, but like the amount of times I had to like pause and check the map and then go like fucking left turn, and then I go to the end and I go right and then I go there, and I'm like, Jesus, I hadn't read a map. That's probably my only 2 cents. What did you think of the maps and stuff?
Funny enough, the two places you don't like was my favourite 2 places. I really enjoyed Kijimi, as just a wee town. I kind of thought it broke it up a wee bit. I feel like I didn't know them had to be big massive places. I actually felt like the one that was the jungle, I actually felt like was the biggest waste of space. Or I literally text Sean and I was like, I text Sean and I was like, I really don't like this jungle. I was like, it was like a nice wee town. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then you go out and it's just this jungle with trees and dirt paths everywhere. Yeah. And I was like, I just didn't feel like there was much in it. Like, I just felt like a huge, big open area for no much there.
That's literally what Tatooine is, but
that's true. But I think Tatooine for me just ticked that box. I like. Do you know what's funny? See, when I seen Tatooine, I was like, I literally left Tatooine till the end because I was like, why did I need to go to Tatooine? That pure small galaxy feeling again. Like, always needs to be Tatooine to go to in Star Wars, always. And then I played Tatooine and I was like, this is fucking brilliant. This is brilliant. This is exactly the way Tatooine should feel, and I feel like I'm there playing a game. I mean, I've never played a game where I felt like this is exactly what it should be like in a Star Wars game anyway. But I liked it. As I said, I like Kijimi being that wee small area. I thought it broke it up, and it was big enough, and it almost. I felt like I was more stealthier in Kijimi than kind of anywhere else because it was so small and compact. I don't know what it is. Just maybe the high streets and you're just like going through a sort of concrete snow jungle. In Tatooine, as I said, I just liked just purely for like fanning a fanboy, like just being in the place where you can literally go to Luke's house, Luke Skywalker's house, and there's people actually standing outside. They're like, do you know what happened? Oh, did you hear what happened to Lars? Oh, the Empire came. Oh, it was terrible. And I was like, that's fucking cool. That's actually pretty cool. That they've put it in there. You can also find the dragon bones that C-3PO and R2-D2 are out in the sand dunes. And I drove by and I was like, is that a big fucking dragon skeleton? I was like, that's the one for the fucking film. I was like, that's brilliant. And they've actually got that there.
Aye.
I was like, I just ticked all the boxes for it. And as I said, I never thought I was going to like Tatooine. I was pure fucking rolling my eyes at it. But the first place was alright as well. I didn't mind Tushara. Didn't mind it at all. It opened the game up. I was actually I actually thought, like, see, when I first played it, I was like, oh, is this game just going to be here? And then I was like, no, because I've seen a fucking spaceship and all that. And then when it opened up, I was like, oh, there's fucking, wait, there's 3 other places. I was like, it can't be the same size as this. It's fucking massive at Toshara place.
I felt that was when I went on to there, I thought you would have been there for quite a long time. I actually thought they'd done quite well moving you away from there. And going to other places
quite quickly enough, I would say.
And I wasn't, it's I liked the feeling and the intensity of the Kojima place. That it was just, you're going around and it's nowhere to hide type, or nowhere to run. I should say there's plenty of places to hide, but it was nowhere to run. It was more detailed and compact. When you started exploring, there was a lot of different wee hidden bits and other stuff. But I just feel like with the other places being these open and kind of normal areas, like Kojima was one of the places that was like exploring the extremities of ice and weather and cold and whatever else, and I think that would have made a really good aesthetic. I'm not saying it needs to be as big as the opening area, but just something else that you can go and explore, and I'm sure they could have done loads of things with ice that would have made things like quite challenging or different. So no two. Again, I thought the balance was good. They obviously had probably haven't spoke about the outer space. That was entirely generic between each place, but still enough that, when you were in the different areas, it was alright, in terms of getting around different bits between each of the planets and things. I probably enjoyed the fact that you could fast travel. I used that quite a lot in the end because it was just too much.
At the end,
too much fun.
I did like it with the different spaces that had different stuff on it. Like Kojima had this sort of like fucking frost fog in the space where you had to go through it and it like fucked with your ship and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. And then like I think it was the one in Tashara, is like there's clearly been a space battle there for like whenever, I don't know what period it was supposed to be, but there's like clearly all this space debris and ships have all blown up and all that in their own bits, and it was pretty cool. But it's nothing you've not seen before. When you've been when you've played one space game, exploration game, you've kind of seen it.
That's true. Talking about just the different things we've maybe seen, no seen, all that kind of stuff. I thought the Syndicate stuff was actually pretty good. I wasn't really anticipating that that they would get that kind of thing in this game, where obviously you're trying to get in with like bosses and things like that, and I thought they'd done it quite well, that you had different imposing charters like on each of the maps, and I thought one of the best things about them was they were entirely like they'd fall out of you or anything, but they were entirely forgiving if you were fucking helping them. Like they really, I had kind of wrote in my head that that they would never talk to me again after some of the decisions that I'd made. I very much pledged my allegiance to, as I mentioned earlier, to the Bike Syndicate, because I thought they were quite funny. And the first big choice I made, I sided with them over the Ashiga clan. I just didn't trust the lassie that ran it. I just get that feeling there, and I thought, Crimson Dawn, sorry, I should say. I just didn't get that. I just get that feeling, and I think I just fucked with them the most, like for the whole rest of it. I was just like I just patched them at every chance that I could get. So I thought that came in quite a bit. Like every mission, I actually messaged you about this at one point. I think they don't cut corners when it comes to opportunities to fuck with the other clans. Like, you're literally ready to finish a mission. It was like, here, do you know what'd be really funny? See if you just like didn't do this and you just gave them to them instead. And I'm like, fucking yes, I'll do that. I'm in. So I quite enjoyed the factions for that, and having the different meters and stuff. I don't know, did you kind of mess with any of that in terms of getting to the very bottom? I don't think I ever actually got to the very bottom and got hunted down.
I think Crimson Dawn I got nearly to the bottom one time because they were hunting me and stuff like that.
Right.
So that happened with Crimson Dawn. Funny enough, I did the exact same thing. I like the Pikes, I like the Ashiga clan, and then when I got to the huts, I was like, I'm fucking Jabba's best pal. But I did fuck a bit with them, and I was like, when the Crimson Dawn started hunting me in different parts, usually in space it was, was like, right, I need to get these cunts up. I need to start doing wee side missions for them, wee side quests to just get them on my good side because I don't want somebody hunting me in the game and stuff like that. It was very reminiscent to me, although no is elaborate, but it was very reminiscent of the Nemesis system for like the Mordor games.
Yeah.
It was very much like that, like just the try to keep people happy. I mean, it's different obviously, but it's sort of like
Aye.
it, try to keep people happy
Same
and just
sentiment.
trying to. Aye, it's the same kind of like you can piss different people off and stuff like that, and they will come for you at one point. Or as you said, that I love that as well. I love that every mission you didn't matter if it was maybe not the main missions, but side quests and all the other quests apart from main missions. Every time would be somebody trying to fuck with you, try to get you to swap sides, and it just really lended itself into that outlaw scoundrel. Like
Aye.
you could do this for the 1,000, or
Yeah.
you could do it for 2,000. You know
Aye.
what are you gonna do here? You know
Aye.
it was very
That's
much like
funny, man.
that. Or people would be helping you, and then at the end they would try to like double cross you and stuff like that as well, which I really enjoyed. But I really I thought the factions were pretty cool. And seeing Jabba Hutt, like I was like, yes, yes,
I was the opposite.
love that.
I don't like Jabba the Hutt. I don't like him. Don't like the fucking mad stupid language he does. Could for
One double, one
just
double.
I feel like anytime he's in it and everything slows down and my attention's because that's obviously by design. He's slow
Yep, yep.
speeder, but I'm like I just can't be fucked with this. No interest in it. Didn't want anything to do with him until I started trying to do some stuff where I don't know what I was doing, but anyway, I was in the area of his henchmen and the big guys with the big fucking axe things. Like they would just come out and just bop you in the nose, man, and that was you out. And I thought I'm going to be pals with them for a bit because I'm getting fed up of them fucking hunting me down, especially in Tatooine. So I done one or two missions just to try and like, or I gave them intel or something, I think it was, just to try and like sweeten the pot a wee bit so that I could actually like go about on my speeder without getting chased down by a fucking army of rogues. So they were probably the biggest guys, like, as much as they were probably like rivaled the droids, like, in terms of like what they could do to you, because the droids could really fuck you up as well, but the droids were stupid, you know, they had like distinct patterns. Like these guys were big beefy
Just
guys
hunks.
with the big bloody axes or whatever. So I definitely tried to avoid them by befriending as much as I could, but that was probably the best the best option for most, is to try and avoid any kind of issues with the guys. But other than that, Ashika Clan was entirely forgetful to me. That they were there and did different missions and stuff with them. I can't remember who I got to the top way. I got to the top way two of them, I think, because I think I got the gun. I don't think you need to get to the top to get the gun right enough, but I got a couple of outfits, and I think that was just natural rather than like trying to decide or try to aim for the unlocks.
The Shiga clan was dead easy to do because it was literally like they were only in that one place. So usually in Kijimi, we kind of had a few different people, but they were only really in that one place. So you had to just really do their main story. And I don't know if I even done anything else for them. Maybe gave somebody some food or something like that one of the other maps, but they were my top ones. And I was like, I don't feel like I've spoke to them since the start of the game. And like in the last mission, it's the top person that comes and helps you
Oh, aye.
in the last fight, and it was the Shiga clan. And I was like, honestly, I don't know the last time I talked to one of you cunts. But they were like, "We'll help you," and I was like, "I cool, no bother, come on in."
I think mine's were the
Um,
pikes, because I was like up at the very top with them, but again I didn't
yeah,
do a lot of faction missions and stuff.
yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
to the top with them, and then I just didn't really piss them off a lot, so I just kind of left it. I think anyway, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
I have beat the game, but it was that long ago, and couldn't tell you actually what
I
actually
got, I
happens.
got, I got all the stuff for the huts. Got all the stuff for Shiga, and I got all the stuff for the pikes. I didn't for Crimson Dawn, because I could never really keep them higher than kind of like good, without fucking somebody else up. So, aye, that's about as good as I could get. But
I
it's
was
fun.
going.
It's funny that you could play the game and just be like, you know, I'm just go with Crimson Dawn instead. It's got that sort of replayability. But I don't really think it would change anything. It's
Probably
sort of like
no.
that sort of side thing today. But it's no, it's just something different, I suppose.
I was planning on going back and doing all the faction stuff, and I didn't do hundreds of the leader ones either, and the contracts and stuff. But just I was thinking about the platinum at one point, but there's so many trophies. Ubisoft are ridiculous when it comes to their trophies. It was high level, and one of them was just, I'm like, I'm not fucking doing that. I can't be bothered. Couple was like defeat a ship without taking any damage. Defeat the capital ship without taking hull damage or something. I'm like, man, this can't be. No, you're alright. And I think one of them's like 40 contracts or something. So unless you're doing them as you go, and then you've just got to clean up at the end. Like, I wasn't doing that many because I didn't need to.
No.
So I just left it. Which was fine. It is what it is. So I think the faction's very good addition, and I felt like maybe you could have put a wee bit more in with with them being like, maybe you could have done a couple more like faction specific like good storylines. Like, if some of the side quests were alright, but I think they could have had a lot more rather than just going and meeting them at the table. It's like very GTA like mission. Like old GTA, like Vice City and that, like, where you would just go and like meet a person at a table and they would tell you the thing, you would fuck off and go and do it. I think it could have been, it would have been really funny to, like, you know, cut about with like one of them or do something. I don't know what it would look like, but definitely could have involved them a wee bit there. Main story though, were you happy enough with the main story in terms of like what it was compared to, like, you know, other Star Wars is very much like the world is going to end or something's, you know, the threat to the fucking rebels is going to be. I mean, you're very much small fry.
Yeah, I have to say, like, for an overall main story, it probably was alright. I don't think it was anything to write home about. It kind of rinse and repeats itself. You know, at the start of it, it's like, we've got this big heist, you're going to help, you're the hacker. Then you go in, and then it's like, oh no, actually, this is all fucked. You got caught. Now there's a big price in your head, and it's like, well, do you know what we'll do? We'll do it again. Like, all right.
Very good.
Okay. And as you said, I think you could actually did the main missions. I think you could have did that in about 5 hours. But I don't really recall it being that long. I kind of think it was only like 1 or 2 missions, like main missions that were in each map. So it wasn't long at all.
No.
But it's weird because I felt like the main mission, although that was I suppose it's the overarching story, kind of just felt like a side mission as well. Like, I think actually most of the side missions felt like the main mission, actually building the relationships with the clans and all the factions and doing all the other stuff. I don't know. I felt like that was more the game for me than the actual main story.
I had a lot of that as well. I actually preferred the kind of going off and doing the DLC and resolving that. Again, you know, we'll talk on some of the characters soon, but just then, like the DLC, I thought had a better threat in terms of the main character that they talk about. They refer to them in the main game, but they explore them a wee bit more in the kind of general. And it's, I don't know, it's a wee bit kind of, it was quite interesting, but I felt like I was never sure if I was actually doing the main measure or not. If it wasn't for the cutscenes, I probably wouldn't even have known that some of them were main missions. The side quest stuff I thought was interesting, and I'd say it only really hit up once, you know, something happened to the ND5 and you kind of try to I'd say that's probably when it spiced up a wee bit with the main quest. But for the lion's share,
I think
it was okay.
the two kind of biggest bits in the full game, and one of them isn't even that big, was probably when Nyx gets stolen by Jabba. Was probably a bit I remember. And as you said, when ND5 nearly dies, that's probably the other biggest part of the game. Apart from that, like the main story, I mean, but apart from that, like I don't remember them being like extremely memorable bits through the main mission, or even kind of sort of interesting. It was just kind of a bit like, right, well, we're doing this big thing just to do it, to get us to point A to point B, and they just couldn't hold the water to try to get rebellion and empire stuff in at the end. But I get it. But it's again, as you said, I like to be the small fry. I like them to explore more than just the empire and the rebellion. But they just always love bringing back into like
Big Darth in it.
It's obviously it's like when they get this opportunity. The gaming people must be like, no, but can we use Darth Vader?
Aye.
And they're like, aye. And they're like, yes, let's fucking do that. Let's do it. And they just carry hold the water. See if that was me, I'd be like, see even like the first time you see Darth Vader, right? Fuck it, we're talking about him. See the first time you see Darth Vader in this game, and she's climbing through a vent, and she kind of looks down, and Darth Vader's like one of the guys into trouble. Basically, he's kind of like, "What the fuck are you doing? You're ruining this. Stop it, or else shit's going to happen to you." I'm like, cool. That's where you could have left it. You don't need to see Darth Vader again. You've seen him in passing. I'm like, cool. No bother. I can take that. And then it's like you go to the next place and it's like, oh, Darth Vader's back again. You're like, oh, come on.
Like
why did you need to
bring him back again?
Why does he always keep popping up? The galaxy's so big, but somehow he keeps fucking coming to all the places you go.
Aye.
Just like...
When I was thinking about it at the time, I was like, right, okay, so we're affecting things that much that it's impacting, that he's getting involved, and I'm like, it's good to contextualise like what it is that you're doing or what effect you may be having, but at the same time, like they could have just like alluded to him rather than like make a big like song and dance about it. Like I don't think they really had to like literally like parade him on screen or do whatever. Like they could have easily just been, saying like, oh, such and such, or he's coming, or whatever it was. Whatever it is, like.
Yep.
Just
they could have been like,
they
could have been like, oh, they've just stole their plans. Oh fuck, did you hear Darth Vader's coming to fucking get us into trouble or something like that? He's coming. They're all shitting themselves and all that. That's what it could have been, but no, they just had to. They just couldn't hold their water. No. They just wanted to show them. Just wanted it.
I think the Boba Fett one was funny. Like you could have missed that.
Perfect.
Like you could literally just keep crawling in that event. You would never have probably seen him. Like I think I had to go back, like when I was there, like just to see, like just to look and go, oh, that is him.
That's exactly what I like. See if it's in this time period, between 5 and 6, and the stuff in Star Wars is happening at that time. That is so perfect. You're literally climbing through Jabba's palace, and you look through a vent, and you see Boba Fett. He doesn't say a fucking word. He's just looking at somebody across the desk, and that's it. And you're like, that is so cool. Like that's all you need. That wee snippet. Then you go about your way, and you're like, well, he's in this world. He's still in this world, but he's not affecting me. I'm not affecting him.
Yep.
Like I literally what you're saying about Darth Vader. Somehow you stealing plans after this ship is fucking. Even though Darth Vader's got a full army of people, he's like, I'm going to go and fucking talk to them about this
personally.
I'm going to go and see them personally. The same. You could probably say that about Jabba as well. I liked that Jabba was in it because he's obviously a faction leader and he's a criminal, so it definitely played into that. And I like the full use of Jabba's palace as well. I thought that was really cool, and it was good to explore it because you don't really get that. You kind of just get to see where Jabba lives and maybe the Rancor pit, but you don't really get to see the ins and out of the place, which I really enjoyed actually. And then if you go and speak to Jabba, and if you actually look to the wall, you can see Han Solo on his carbonite, which I thought was pretty awesome as well.
That's cool.
I thought that was pretty cool. That was about the only screenshot I took, was me like that chiseled beside Han Solo's carbonated fucking frozen body.
I actually don't
Um,
think I've seen it.
I'll send you my screenshot of that one.
I believe it was there.
So, so I just to show you that you can miss that completely, which is pretty cool.
Aye. What did you think of
I
the Orlando thing? Did you know he was in the game? I knew because of the
well,
DLC.
I seen the DLC when I turned the game on. I seen it. That was in it. Like, I seen the Lando, and I was like, he must be in it. And then when they were talking about, I think it was one of the Bat Kings, somebody said something about, oh, have you played this guy called Calrissian, or he said something like that, and I was like, oh, he's going to be in this, like playing Sabak at some point. And then you see him. I actually didn't mind him in it. I didn't even mind that he is kind of like, oh, can you help me do this thing? And then he comes back and he's like, oh, it's actually for the rebellion, so I'm going to tell you I'm in the rebellion. I was fine with that.
Aye.
I was fine with that because I feel like you're not really changing the world. You've
Yep.
accidentally done it.
Yep.
But then when it comes to the end and it's like, we're doing this for the rebellion, I'm like, no, like, no, I didn't. Just
Aye.
let the fucking do what she was supposed to be doing.
Aye.
Like, I don't need to be fighting the Empire towards the end and
No,
stuff. And
you don't need to scale it up.
I have to say, and the game's defense, like in Kez's defense, she's like, I mean, I'm not fighting for your faction. Like,
Aye.
I'm no anti factions. And she literally says that to one of the
I'm
guys.
here
She's
for
like,
me.
I'm not in this for like a rebellion and stuff like that, which I quite enjoyed that. But it's still at the end you're stuck in fighting the Empire, and you've got the rebellion with you, and you've got one of the factions with you who are all fighting the Empire towards the end. And I was like, that was just the pure Star Wars spludge moment right at the
Aye.
end there.
He's
Um,
really didn't need to go like all in with it. Like, I like the introduction of Lando. Obviously, I knew that he was going to be in it because of the DLC. I just wasn't sure when I was in that moment if that was me. Like, because when you get into like when you buy DLC, you don't know when it's going to get activated. It's like, oh, is it going to be a mission? Is it this mission? Is it when he just shows up? Like, is this part of the? So I wasn't actually sure when I was playing it, and I'm like, oh, that was fucking. I actually had to look it up. I was like, when does the DLC kick in? And it was like, oh, when you do this, he'll contact you. And I'm like, well, I'm doing missions for him. And I'm like, oh, this is just the main game. I didn't realise you also get to do some stuff with him. I don't know too much about him other than what you see in the movie, and that. So I wasn't too fussed about seeing him and being with him. I felt like we bit like Jabba. He belonged in the game in terms of that kind of he fits in with the different stuff, especially because of how much everybody was getting in on the gambling side. Like, he's just like the biggest kind of chancer that you probably meet in the whole kind of Star Wars kind of universe. Like, he knows everybody, and he's kind of always up to no good. So it was pretty cool.
I have to say, my wife did at a brilliant moment when I was sitting playing that game in front of her, and it's like the first time it like Kez meets him, and he's like, I'm Lando Calrissian, and my wife went, Lando Calrissian, I'm Amber.
That's class.
I was like, yeah, well done.
That's pretty good.
And I think the rest of the game, every time I see him, I was like, I'm Amber, Star Wars, I like a purple lightsaber, I'm Amber. I was like, no, I just kept saying I remember for the entire fucking thing.
As soon as that's introduced, it's hard to get away from. I don't know if you're saying Kez, like the bird for fucking Bo Selecta, or Kess.
That's Kess, isn't it? It's
Kess.
You're
right.
right.
What's that? Because now I'm seeing is him with the Craig David with the kid on, or Kez with the kid on Hawk, plastic Hawk.
Aye.
Oh dear. Aye. Anyway.
No, but you're right. I think Lando did fit that well. Same as Jabba. I think they're both fitted that well. I think they're good as well because they're B characters, they're no A characters. You don't want any, as I say, I'm not wanting any A characters in this at all. I want to feel like a small fish, so then they lended themselves quite well. I seen it the other DLC. I don't know what's happening with that DLC. I don't know if it'll be it or no, because it's Supermassive no fucked now.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening with that because it's actually Hondo who's in like the Clone Wars and stuff like that, and he's a pretty cool character.
Right.
He's like a pirate. So it'll be quite interesting to see what his DLC will be like as well.
I didn't know who he was, so I wasn't too fussed. So I don't
Yeah,
even know if they were offering the last season pass and all that. But I specifically just wanted that, so I just thought,
yeah,
do you know what, I'm just gonna kind of go,
yeah,
going to go with it, and that was me. I was pretty much happy with that.
yeah.
Oh,
And so the one thing that I want to bring up is
mm-hmm.
I'm so happy you don't see a lightsaber in this game. So
Oh,
happy.
100%, aye,
I'm
yep,
just I know you get all the other Star Wars tropes,
yep.
stormtroopers, everything else, fucking
Stormtrooper.
droids, but I'm just so happy that not a person in this has got a lightsaber because
Yep.
it just how many you just know that's one thing they probably talked about. They probably went, we have one person with a lightsaber in this game, but you just know, are we
Aye,
allowed to do a lightsaber? Somebody's went aye, and they were like, no, let's know. And
aye.
I'm glad that he didn't, because I just, we've played all the games, we've had Jedi games, we've had all this. Just he's a normal person that just doesn't do any of this shit.
Yep.
And yeah, I love a Jedi game, but I do like just playing as a normal person
Aye.
as well, and
Aye.
in a world that I love, a
Love a
universe that I love
lightsaber,
even.
but it just didn't fit. Wouldn't have fit.
No, no. Do you know another one weird thing I want to bring up?
Mm-hmm.
Our mum coming back at the end of the game.
Aye, it was
I
weird.
thought that was very strange. Because I kind of did I did all the main missions apart from like the proper last ones, which was our mum coming back. Where you see Darth Vader as well in that one. That was a double blow. And then the actual main mission, the last main mission, and I thought this is very strange that the bought. Well, I mean, for me, it was only I played maybe the last 2 hours back to back for the 2 missions.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this is a really strange thing to just bring her back for like this one mission, and you're supposed to have some sort of like feeling like when she's
Yeah.
like, "You left me," and I'm like, "Oh, did she? 'Cause she didn't fucking leave me, because I've been playing as you for the last 30 years, and you've brought her up like maybe like once or twice. I don't really have a connection with this woman." But then
Aye.
it's like you're supposed to have this big connection. I was like, it didn't really. That kind of fell flat a wee bit for me.
Aye. That was definitely one of the kind of weird bits in it, because obviously it's supposed to be as if she's mixed up in all the kind of big trouble, if you know what I mean, with the main, like, supposedly main character. But I felt like even some of the main, like, people that we were supposed to be against, like, I wasn't really that first way, if you know what I mean. Like, wasn't the
No,
one they really
no, no,
there all
no.
the time.
You're totally right. But even the main villain, like, you don't you don't see them that much. You see them at the start, and then I think you see them in one cutscene during the middle, and then it's at the end again. Like, you don't really see them that much at all. So it's no, you've kind of, if you keep getting told there's this, I can't remember what they call it. It's some sort of death, fucking, I don't know what they call it, death mark or something like that. They call it. They're like, oh, you've got a death mark on you by this guy, and you're like, all right, and that's all you get told through the entire game. Oh, you need to get rid of this death mark because this
Aye.
guy's got a death mark against you, and you're just kind of like, is he? Like,
Aye.
really? Like,
Good for him,
I
like.
mean, the main baddie in it's probably actually the bounty hunter that keeps coming after you,
Aye.
and then she's your pal at the end of it. I can't remember what her name was. She kind of owes you one for saving her life. But she was pretty cool actually. She was pretty cool. I quite enjoyed her. Um, I have to say, overall, I really enjoyed this game. There was times that I played it and I was like, then I got through it. I was sort of like Avatar actually. And then I got through it and I was like, this is actually really good. And it's the most, even playing Jedi, playing Knights of the Republic and all that. This is the most Star Wars feeling game that I think I've ever played. Like, lived in Star Wars feeling game,
Yep.
and I think that's a good detriment to this game because, oh, it's not a detriment to this game because it's it's just I've never felt like I've played a Star Wars movie than I've played this game.
Aye.
Just I don't know. I've written about it. Having wildlife, having animals. How many times I've walked by a fucking bantha and I was like, I'm petting that motherfucker. I'm petting a bantha.
Aye.
Like, you're not
Aye.
gonna let me like walk by this bantha. I'm fucking petting this.
I got a couple of
Funny
screenshots
enough,
with him.
that was a trophy or not.
Yeah.
It was make Nick's jealous or something like
Oh.
that. So it was really good. I just really enjoyed it
Aye.
overall.
It was good. I wasn't going to ask you about your overall kind of thoughts, but I think you pretty much rounded them all off there with each of the points. I think the only thing I'd probably ask you, if you were to put a score on it, what would you roughly think?
I would say a low 8 out of 10, definitely.
Do you think...
for fanboyism, if I was saying the Star Wars game, I'd probably say it's probably one of the best Star Wars games, as in environment wise, maybe no story wise. Story was probably what brought it down.
Yeah.
Better than anything. On the overall score. I mean, Knights Old Republic is superb. I hope that game comes out and it is as good as what I remember them being, because they were fucking fantastic games.
Aye.
It's a good 8 out of 10, I'd say.
So I thought when you were getting into the fanboyism and stuff, you were talking about some sort of kind of different score there. Was just still, even with that all in mind, you still kind of 8, low 8 probably, you're saying, like...
I would say low 8. Probably low 8. No, maybe a high 8 actually. Because I have to say that I feel that this game, like if I've talked about recently, I mean, this game, environment wise and the stuff that you see in the universe, is better, I would say, than Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order, like just purely for environment bases, and actually feeling like Star Wars.
I suppose.
But it's a really good time if you can get it for a deal or on sale or something like that. Honestly, the glitches are mostly away, and it's just it's just a good game. It's sort of like it seemed when I was playing it at the start, the first like Tushara, I was like, this sort of feels like Uncharted, like Star Wars Uncharted I'm playing.
It was
and I'm like, that's not a bad comparison to have.
Aye. I can maybe see that, just maybe in terms of the big, whatever the main, whatever that Uncharted game was that had the big open area, as opposed to being a linear game the way that Fallen Order and that plays. I probably preferred Fallen Order if I was comparing the two. I preferred the gameplay for that, but when I played Jedi Survivor, I didn't really enjoy how the way they went with that. It's just maybe just too much exposure to it. But this one, Outlaws, I definitely enjoyed all the different elements here. There wasn't nothing really overstayed. I can see why it's kind of I was just on the Open Critic. At the minute, it's at a 75 at the minute, which is still a good score, especially in the modern day. I feel like that's something that we need to keep considering, like games.
You got that pretty poor release as well, didn't it? I think it was a very glitchy mess when it first came out as well.
Aye, the glitches are terrible in that sense, and obviously one of the main things that people were complaining about was the stealth. I don't think I would have enjoyed it if it forced me to redo elements, because that's what it was doing at the start. If you would get caught, you had to redo it. So if rather than like fighting your way through it or try to hide and get back out of it, so
that would be a pain.
Hats off to them for changing that, because it definitely made a difference to me. I can't compare the difference, I should say, but 75. I thought fair enough, especially with that kind of stuff happening, and just the way games are scored these days. I feel like they're starting to trend a wee bit low on there. Even look at that Monster Hunter Wilds is at 89. I thought that was 90, mid 90s at best. PGA Tour sitting at 82 at the minute. Like I never would have imagined a month of Sundays a golf game getting any kind of 80. I don't know. It's just one of the things. So. Just at the minute, the way that critics are scoring games, totally fine. We are a 75. It's still a good, very good game, very good experience. In terms of wrapping things up, don't really know if there's anything that we didn't really touch on. I feel, as I say, the biggest probably issue with the space combat, just to touch back on that again, was I just felt, I never said at the time, But we mentioned No Man's Sky and stuff, and I have obviously inverted on a lot of different things, especially when flying stuff makes sense to me. When flying stuff, I couldn't get it to work, couldn't get it to make sense on this game. I don't know what it was. The speed as well, I thought was strange. Like that they decided to have the speed on the analog stick. I kept slowing down. I wasn't meaning it, but I kept slowing down. Like I don't know what the alternative would be. Whether it would just be X or HUD X in or Demo. I don't know, but it's better than, it's got to be better than what it was. I get the idea that it's supposed to be like a, almost, if you imagine how like a bolt's accelerator works, where you're just pushing forward like the. So I think that's what they were thinking about, but it just didn't feel right. Like the turning and the looking, it felt like you could turn quicker than you could look, or vice versa. Like it just didn't feel any kind of good way. Maybe obviously, as you say, when you upgrade it, you start to get a wee bit more, agile. But I just felt it was just too much for me anyway. But it's a very small gripe for this game. Looking at the main story, it was fine. You could probably blitz through the main story quite quickly and then just go and do all the adventure stuff. Loads of different things that you could revisit in that. So I think we probably covered all the main points in this discussion. I don't know if you've got anything else to mention.
The only thing I want to ask is, what would you think a second one? I don't know how that would happen with Supermassive. No, there maybe somebody else pick it up, but what would you think of a second one? Up for it? No, up for it?
I think you could. The possibilities is endless. Probably you could literally insert her anywhere in the timeline, or no, even in the timeline. Do you know what I mean? Like you could just put it anywhere, and it would work. Any kind of crook heist, thing that you could think of would make for a great game. I don't know what it looks like and can't really think off the top of my head, but there's plenty of planets as well that's not explored. I feel that you could probably develop some of the stuff, and I'm sure there's cause for it. I would like to see different Star Wars stuff explored as much as I don't know how they would go about it or what it would look like, but before the most recent Mandalorian season came out, I felt like a Mandalorian game would have been pretty good. That bounty hunter style game where you're going in hunting people down would have been pretty cool, but it's just similar to what you're talking about with small galaxy syndrome. I feel like you're going to just come across the same kind of areas that you probably see in the film, like the TV show in The Mandalorian or whatever. I think you would maybe come across just too much. And this,
I think what you brought up before, it could be a Mandalorian game, no with Mandalorian, but just an actual other Mandalorian, just like sort of bounty hunting, which we got the Jango Fett bounty hunter game, so we could just recreate that, which would be pretty cool.
Aye, that's true. Aye.
Like, I don't mean that game. I mean a game like that.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye. There's. I would be up for it. Definitely no on release although it would be a different team, but even still, I would still wait it out. But not pretty happy with Outlaws. Hard to think about another Star Wars game at the minute. Just once you've had one, you're like, right, I'm pretty good for a wee while. I'm out now for a bit. So, listen, enjoyed this. It was a good episode as well. Pretty good chat, I would say, running through this. We only had kind of one other thing, which is DLC, and we kind of covered that a wee bit earlier on. So for me, I'm pretty much done. And again, I really enjoyed this. I'm not sure what our next podcast episode is going to be. We might go back to the topic discussion, see how that works with the two of us. I'm not really sure. Maybe get Rahul involved with a quiz or something, although he's pretty deep in Monster Hunter, so might not work out with that way anyway. But naturally, we'll just come up with an idea, and we'll try and get that in the next month or two, so that we can keep these fresh, keep the podcasts dropping. Next up for me in terms of games and stuff for you to look forward to hearing about, Farming Sim is coming back. Don't you worry, it's installed. We'll just Farmer Sean will be on the way.
He'll be on Twitch playing Star Wars Fallen Order.
I thought about that a wee while ago, because it's on Game Pass, and I think I downloaded it, and I'm like, I can't be arsed playing this again. I platinumed it. I'm done.
Yeah.
But I've got a few games coming out. Space Marines, I think was going to be next as well. So I'll probably check that out. So make sure you are tuning in the next couple episodes or so. But appreciate those who have stuck with us. We're running shorter than some of the longer episodes that we've ever done, but it's still good 2 hours and 45 delicious minutes for you to get through, and hopefully you have enjoyed that. All that's left for me is to say I hope to see you soon, and take care. Your gate's not picking that up.
Children.
Oh.
Love it though, love it. If anybody was interested, it's heavy breathing, so enjoy.
He did is just a Darth Vader, just like the rest of the game companies.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Vault Dwellers podcast. You can keep up with Gary Moore at Gary Moore's Art over on Instagram. You can keep up with myself on Twitter and Twitch at MrMac92, and you can't keep up with Hoodie on Kidoctoby over on Instagram. Very special shout out to Al the Predator Trousman for creating the intro and outro music. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.